So, what is going on today and why do we have this counter up here? Well, I was fortunate enough to win the Throne Championship yesterday, and I think I played very well. I also got extremely lucky. There's no question about that, but I think I played very well and got extremely lucky. And I think that, well, I think this is going to show that you always have more agency over your games than you realize. A lot of people say, oh, I got flooded, whatever, and I lost, or I got screwed and then I lost, and stuff like that. There was nothing I can do. It's something that I hear from a lot of card game players, and I'm just going to go through and show you all the things that I did wrong. We're going to count how many things that I did wrong during this tournament. Do Twitch things usually do for 24-hour streams? Oh, cool. Oh man, I would love to hear you play sometime, Jess. Make sure, just like DM me the next time you are streaming music. I know that might be like a year from now or something. Like maybe that's a thing, but just like DM me or like text me. Call me. Make sure that I wake up and listen to you. All right. So, yeah, like I said, this is mostly just to show that you have more agency over what happened, over the result of your games than I think that people realize. Or use smoke symbols, yeah. Just flash the sunny sign into the night, and I'll be there. The pager. All right, so we're starting off with my match against Days Undoing. This is at 127.36.
Same action. I think Suny actually showed up with Mono Fire here this weekend, and Enclave as we was found deck.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't quite have this right.
Oh.
All right, so first thing, wait, can I? Game 3. Okay, I think we're just getting into the game right now. What's going on? Okay, so my opponent is playing a Felon deck that has mono 4 health units, and that is really bad for my units that all die to Hailstorm, which is something they can fetch out of their market, and for units that don't attack for 4, which basically none of my units do unless you have a Jack with double damage. So this matchup should be unwinnable. Fortunately, as with every game that I played as if my opponent didn't have a Blight Moth, and my opponent didn't have a Blight Moth, so that was good. I just, don't think that there was a different way I could play. I think that if my opponent had the Blight Moth, I was going to get blown out, and if I played in a way that wouldn't happen, I was just going to lose anyway. Okay, so, looks like I went second. Yeah, looks like I'm going second here. Kept a 2-power hand with these two, that's a good start. Definitely going to keep that. My opponent goes nothing on turn 2, which is really good for me. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so it does look like I went first. Yeah, I went first. Okay, never mind. This was extraordinarily lucky. I can't go over how ridiculously lucky it is that I got a relic weapon that can kill the 1/4 and stick around to...
Really similar list from Sunnyvale, only a couple cards different from what we just saw in the hands of Mervs.
Stick around
has that Mother of Sky
that to fight after something. So I just got extremely lucky there. The problem is I don't have double fire, so I can't play it that turn. So I need to go to the market and get that double fire. I need it for Jack. Also, the card that I'm shipping here is the Tota Pioneer. I think the Charge Chain Flail represents one of the only ways that I can remove my opponent's units that have 4 health. So definitely the play here is to ship away the Tota Pioneer. This is a very useful attacker, and get the second fire source. That's exactly what I need. And that's exactly what I do. Okay, good. We've made it through one turn without any misplays.
Devotion, that was their second power. I was trying to figure out why they hadn't attacked with the Oni Ronin to try to get a Charge Chain Flail down, and then realized they only had a single fire influence.
Okay, so my opponent's playing Strategize. I like that, but then they're going to play Permafrost, which I don't like that. But fortunately, I have the power to just play Charge Chain Flail, break this, and attack with both. Oh, they're so good. I mean, getting to play a power off the top of your deck is such an absurdly powerful thing to do. Occasionally, it was pretty rare that I would have influence problems with this deck. Sometimes I wouldn't get up to quad fire right away, but that card's just so ridiculously powerful. You can't not play it, I think. All right. So
absolutely massive there for Sunnyvale.
I got extremely lucky,
Combo here.
but
Lightning
my
Sprite
opponent
plus
is
Spell
also
Rock.
getting extremely lucky here because they get to play 2 units, you know, play 9 power worth of
Yeah,
units for the cost of 2.
champion.
So I have to discard something. I need to keep the Charchain Flail around, and there's no guarantee that the Toad Pioneer is going to be adding anything to my aggression, which is what I need to do. So I'm looking at my hand, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to bash this, I'm going to play Milos, and then I'm going to attack with everything. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Here. Enclave Cryptologist is kind of building towards something to fight back.
Oh, VFam, if you've never played this, just think it's exactly like Magic the Gathering. It's not exactly like Magic the Gathering. There are examples, but it is very similar to Magic. The designers are Magic Hall of Famers. The one difference we were seeing here, the one big difference, is that I have a relic weapon, which, well, it's like having a creature that just fights things, basically. Damage usually doesn't stick on units, but damage sticks on the relic weapon. Okay, so I need to kill this so I can attack with everything. I'm going to play Milos. Well, actually, that's not actually entirely true. Oh man, did I misplay this? If I play Milos and attack with everything and then play Granite Coin shooting this when they block the 2-1 with it, is that a better play? That might be a better... So I definitely... I attacked this and played this. Then they can't kill the Milos. They can also block here, but they can make that block anyway. I think we have the first misplay of the day. How exciting. Is this still looking at things? Why is it doing that? Alright. Alright. Misplay count 1.
Oni Road and then their Yeti Pioneer.
Because that way I keep a Milos down, and that would be really good. And I still have the 4 power. The other important thing is that I have the 4th power for the Charchain Flail.
Lightning Sprite bites the dust. All of the
Wow, I thought hard about that one too.
Spell Rock trade off with one of these threats. And
all right,
trade off with...
so I'm about to get extremely unreasonably lucky. Well, actually, I guess that's the same block that was going to happen either way, huh? So what is the difference here? The difference here is that no, there's no difference in what happens. They just can't make the choice of killing Jack instead. Or of Milos, rather.
Firebomb will go into Enclave Cryptologist deck, and a Granite Coin will come down to deal 1 to Enclave.
So it ended up not mattering, but that's still a misplay. Okay, so here comes down the Champion of Cunning. I absolutely, in order to have any chance of winning this game, need to draw a power right now.
Stable form picked up, but Enclave Crypt.
And I don't. I draw the next best thing. The only reason this Milos is acceptable here is because of exactly what happens here. I attack with everything, and then I Charchain Flail to finish off the Champion of Cunning when they block the 4/4, which is, I mean, how can you not, right? My opponent drops to 4. Otherwise, like, if they block this, then I just have a 4/4 instead of a 3/3. I guess they keep this around. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just gonna start dropping the bombs here. We've got a huge champion. Champion of Cunning already grown.
Well, okay, my play is clear. Attack with everything, hope they make this block, and then Charchain to finish off the Champion of Cunning, and they're at 4. If they block like this and drop to 5, I'm kind of in trouble because this Charchain Flail is kind of stuck in my hand. Sorry, they dropped to 3, but then they also just died a Torch and Seer, so that is not great for them either.
In Firebomb range with 2 in their deck, and Sunny's gonna use the last Charchain Flail.
All right, so they're going to play the Champion.
Super close one. Champion of Cunning can be a hold off Milos, but it's not going to take much.
And I just draw a Torch because I am lucky like crazy. I mean, the game probably turns a corner pretty quickly, but I do have a few turns to draw out of it, even if I don't draw the Torch there. Okay, so we escaped the first match with 1 misplay. So now let's go to 2 hours.
Champion of Cunning had stabilized the board, managed to get Sunny into our top 16.
It's just going to be, like you said, can they get to them?
So this
Yeah,
matchup,
definitely have the
and I don't
tools
know
we
why they
for
featured this,
Bard
because this should have
favors
been a
for
total slaughter.
Ions,
This
or at
matchup
least
is
the
against
players
someone that's
or
playing
Gentle
for
Pride.
Blightmoth, for
For
Var's
Pride,
favor,
they're gonna make the
for
game
Pride
really
Leader,
tricky
for
because
Iron,
they
and I'm
only
not
avail
kidding.
to
Like, it
figure out
sounds
how
like
to
I'm just
play
naming the
defense.
cards that are good
Sounds
against
like
me.
the players are
That's
right
actually
there
what
now,
my
yeah.
opponent was playing. Okay, so
All right,
this
welcome
is
into our
game
top
one.
16,
All right,
Suny.
so I keep a hand that has 2 power, but has a 1-drop into Yeti Pioneer, and that's about as good as I'm doing. It has a
Fail
Jack
top of
too.
your screen with modifier.
All right,
Think
so
yourself with a
obviously
big
I have
kill
to.
spot.
My
They've
first
got
few
a
turns are
take on the
scripted.
big
I have to
seven.
go
So far, we see an Iron
Oni
getting
Patrol
Varus,
into
Bator.
a
When we see
2-drop,
Lazarus try to
and I
trade
think
off
given
that
the
control
make of my
info,
hand, it makes sense to play the Pioneer. It's going to help me develop.
Yeah, Sabat just really valuing here, just self-preservation, just making sure that they can get to the Ions, make sure that they can get to the late game action that they have access to.
Yeah, I think
Cord,
people
did you know
said
that
that a
Sunny was
lot.
playing
Oh, I
for the
guess you can't
Cookmaster?
really
That's pretty
see.
wild.
Here, I'll put that there.
No, I saw that drawn and I immediately had to go back and look at Sunny's deck because I thought we were.
Okay, so I literally can't make a different play. Like, I have to attack. I've got Reckless. So attacking into the Reckless is not like there's nothing I can do about it.
Decided they wanted to play
And
with
I think that given the composition of my hand, I still want to help develop, so using the
Most recent
Yeti
draft
Pioneer
pick
is
here.
good here. So now my opponent passes
They
with
could,
4 power,
we
which
could
could
cost
mean
1/1 Yeti
it
and
could mean
their draw
anything. It
card
could
gets
mean
a
Iron,
prestige
it could
strike
mean
for
this,
that
and it
card.
could mean Pride Leader.
Combines
And
really
I
well.
have nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I have to attack. If it's a 3/5, then I can at least use the Char Chain Flail to finish it off. So this play makes
With
sense.
things like Jack, the treasure troves that Jack can make, as well. You know, Sunny can put things like.
So
their
here, my opponent gains
power
3
cards
life,
to good
eats the Oni Ronin, and
use, being able to draw.
the Ion's just gonna,
Ash elementals,
you know,
whatever.
survive until the next turn and be more of a pain. I have to use the Char Chain Flail in order to finish it off. If I could pay 1 power and trade my Char Chain Flail for that Ion at full health, would it be worth it? Yeah. That's essentially what I'm doing here.
We'll see it.
So yeah, that play
down
doesn't feel
these
great,
Ions
but
have
I
done
do
a
think
great
it's
job for
necessary.
Sabat early. They're up to 31.
Yeah,
Again, I have Reckless on both my units.
Kinda
I have to attack.
through the initial wave here, but they're kind of running low on resources. Zabot hasn't really found any ways to trade profitably with Sunny's fire strategy, and this is kind of the last straw, but that was a really, really great hit.
Fantastic. So
All right, so Blightmoth, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. So what's the play here? I've got 4 power. I can't play the Jack. I've got Cookmaster and Oni Ronin. I might as well play everything out. The only issue is if I play the Cookmaster, they just use the Blightmoth to finish off the Cookmaster and kill the Pioneer. Yeah, it's not pretty. And then I'm just like super dead. So I think that if I'm going to play the Pioneer, I have to torch the Blightmoth. And I don't particularly want to do that. Because like if my opponent has other things they need to do, then this is just gonna fade away. So I don't think that using the torch there, like this is going to provide value no matter what. This is going to provide value if my opponent does nothing else. So I torched the Grazer.
And potentially torch the Shade. Oh, interesting. Going after the Gentle Grazer.
Oh. Pale Rider's timepiece shows up. It's cost 4/4 weapon that gives Fine Deadly Killer and License.
If I'm my opponent here, I just activate the Grazer, I think. Anyway, so that was like a necessary line. I'm still like super duper stuck because there's a Blightmoth on the board and I've got a Cookmaster in hand.
I'm actually wondering from Sabat's standpoint, do I want to wait until I find another unit?
Get another
not one
Blightmoth.
that's going to shrink itself and go away eventually. And Sabat's just going to cash in the Gentle Grazer Shade and see if they can hold out.
Alright, so I have to attack. Playing a Cookmaster seems terrible because then I lose both my Yetis, and I just play Milos and pass. I don't think there's a reason to hold Milos because I'm stuck on 2 power, you know?
Oh, and the Milos here is actually going to have to be killer attack down as we can't see Sabat just trying to start applying
All
pressure
right,
to
so the
Sunny.
good news is that I don't have a Blight Moth, but they're also gaining 5 life a turn. I have no way of doing this. I am
How is Sunny
absolutely
gonna be able
dead.
to 5, 6,
All right,
1
so,
lifesteal
you know,
quickly?
we're 2 games in. I feel like I've
You're gonna
only
go with
misplayed
it.
once. That's pretty
No,
solid.
he's not. Maybe
I
next
can
game
already
though,
think
he'll
of
try to
like
fight
3
through.
times I misplayed in the
So,
last
takes down
like
game
2
one.
games. So
Pretty
this
impressive
is not
fashion.
going to stick
Seems
out.
like
This is not going to
weekend
be at
their
1.
plan for the sort of the meta game is I'm going to play with a lot of ambush units that can help me against fire aggro, but also give me the tools to develop my board in exactly the way I want to against things like Hailstorm and Harsh Roll from Haru and Spellcrag. And so far, it seems like that's worked out for them.
Yeah, and just having the cards that play both ways very effectively. Cards like the Pale Rider's Timepiece, which we just saw close the door instantly.
All right, let's get to the next game. Come on.
Can also
Here we
match up
go.
pretty well against some of those decks looking to
All
creep
right,
onto its
so,
lands to get
yeah, hand
all the
going
way up to
first.
full
Had a
power
bunch
to
of
play
things
the
that
Witch
cost
Hunt.
3, only had a couple power.
Sunny
All right,
goes
so
redraw
here's
once.
another example. I'm so
Bottom
glad
draw
you're
has
getting back into this game. What's up? It's Euphoria. Oh, that's a clever name. Nice.
With all their power being depleted on the draw, they'll redraw into a hand that doesn't look quite
So I think that the only thing I can do is pretend that Blight Moth is not a card that exists in Eternal Card Game. Yeah, if I go triple Oni on turn 2 and they play a Blight Moth, I am so sad. But
doesn't have as strong of a tools, but it should play out pretty smooth.
it's my only shot at winning, I think. So the sequence becomes pretty easy. It's just sigil into attack, play 2 Oni Patrol.
Sunny getting the warp
Don't
back
really
started,
have
and we're gonna see what looks like a double
much
onslaught of
option,
Oni
and I don't
Patrols
get
here.
punished.
Huge amounts of strength already in play for Sunnyvale on turn number 2.
Sunny's praying for no Blight Moth, and they will be rewarded.
Oh man, I
Wow,
get
they pick up
incredibly
the
lucky to draw a 4/4 Milos. It's insane. Now, granted, my opponent has the Annihilate here, but like that was probably the best draw I could have had. And let's see. So I'm pretty light on action. So decimating does make sense there. I've got the 3rd power in the Grant coin.
Points of damage from all the Onis.
All right, so hit for 8
Well,
here.
another war cry from the Oni Ronin. As you mentioned, 8 more damage drops the bot down to 15.
All right, so my opponent here, right? My opponent does make a mistake here, sequencing it so that they can't play the Grazer. So I drew a Granite coin. Makes no sense for me to play any of this stuff before comment. Just slam the ace base button. They block with the 2/2. Now what I can do here is I can sear in response, and in response to this block in order to keep my unit alive, but I think that's wrong. And the reason why I think that's wrong is if there's something that survives the attack, like if there's a 3/5, I just can't get through it. It destroys one of my units every single turn. So just allowing that trade to happen, I think, is fine. And I just am going to play coin and play elemental.
Ambush into play here. Let's see what Sabat has access to in their market. What things are they deciding between? They have access to a Lumen Reclaimer, a Null Blade, a Silver Blade Menace, a Nash Desert Prince, and a Dizo's Office.
So definitely no like in the whole kind of cards, but you know, Silverblade Menace, gaining some health with its summon and being a 3/3 body is not a terrible thing to pick up. Really, what's unfortunate for Sabat is right now they're not going to be able to play Gentle Grazer on their turn unless they draw an undepleted time source.
Just extra little bit of burn there from Sunny is that.
All right, so I had the best draw that I possibly could have ever had in order to start this game. Not sure our opponent got the right card from the market there. This is not, so they don't have Grazer in the market, right? I don't think that their market options were that good. It was just about what's in the main deck.
Sunny's actually got lethal burn damage.
Indeed they do.
All right, so I drew absolutely perfect that game and got super lucky, and I don't think I made a mistake, so that's good. Hey, what's up, Parmalee? I hope that you don't mind that I'm using your logo for this. Oh, they have the 5/3 weapon? I think the Menace, Silverblade Menace might be a little better. The weapon's really bad against me. Okay.
was no
It's free
Hinds,
advertising,
there was no
right?
Tempo Grazers, there was no Blight Moths, and those are the kind of cards which can turn the tide of tempo against the mono fire deck.
All
Yeah, they
right,
had a
3
lot
games
more
in,
of
only
the
one misplay.
treading water and trading one-for-one ambush threats between the Smuggler, the Damaras. There was never something that made it feel like the Xenon player was catching up. There wasn't that lifesteal. There wasn't that ability to play multiple cards in the turn. There wasn't the Blight Moth to shrink several Onis or several Yetis.
All right, it's time for game 3. Money on the top of the screen.
Okay.
Ooh,
Is my hand keepable here? I'm gonna say I think it is. Well, like Cookmaster, okay, we all know how this ends, right? I get super lucky and rip all the cards that I could possibly ever want. Cookmaster, it's actually pretty good in this matchup because it's something that can attack even when I think that my opponent has a Grazer. It does die to Blight Moth, but everything dies to Blight Moth. And then this hand has power that has a lot of utility. Like, if you just imagine that this is a 6-card hand, it's not too hard to imagine this hand as a 6-card hand, although maybe I'm supposed to ship this. I'm not going to count it as a misplay because I think it's debatable, but obviously this is not that great. Knowing what you know about the spring championship, oh yeah, I think I would have played Stalagmite. What's it called? The 3-1 with
so kudos to them.
Yeah,
the
really good
3-1
picks here
with
from Sabat. Really
Onslaught.
disciplined redraw
Turn
there.
one of your opponent's
Really
market
only
cards
had
into
the pile to
Firebomb.
work with, and it was in a situation where you need to draw both early
I would
action
probably play that
and
in the
power
place of
cards to keep up
Cookmaster.
the fire deck,
I know
but not
Cookmaster
really
is like a
much.
fantastic meme, but yeah.
So
Yeah,
Sunnyvale
that
gets
one.
their one-drop
All right,
Blight
so
on
I had to
turn
lead
2.
with the coin. Here, I'm thinking that I have a merchant in hand. So the reason why I played the emblem and gave up on the 3-2 is because I've got the merchant in hand. The Waystone is actually a way of generating a free card in order to go to the market for. So I think that this play makes a lot of
And
sense.
here we see Yeti Cookmaster showing up.
So my opponent
Yeah, it
obviously
doesn't look
just
that
like
bad
sees
here
a
with bringing
1-1
the
and just
Waystone
blight
in
moths
hand,
in
keeping the
because
merchant
why
in
wouldn't
hand.
you?
Unfortunately, it's gonna bite the dust here to this Blight Moth.
All right, so here is an interesting spot. Now, I think a lot of the time it makes sense to just play, especially as someone playing an aggro deck, it makes a lot of sense to play your 3-3 on turn 3 when you can. But the way I saw this is like this. Okay, my opponent is down to 6 cards. I'm definitely not under a lot of pressure, right? Like, I don't have to develop super fast to the board. Yeah, if it helps me get ahead of my opponent in tempo, then it is important, but there's no way that that's happening now. So I need to build up a hand that is robust. And the way I'm going to do that is by using the card advantage from Waystone in order to get a Caleb's Persuader and pray that my opponent just doesn't have a removal spell. So I take super long on this play. I think about the Oni Patrol, but I come to the conclusion that, like, Oni Patrol doesn't do anything here. It's a 2-1. My opponent already has a 1-2, and if they, like, you know, if they are able to trade this off somehow one way or another, then they just get to eat the 2-1, and I've already decided to play a slower game, so I need to get the value from my cards.
Phoenix Stone, a Caleb's Persuader. Multiple options if they want to try to play a bit of a longer game here with Sabat.
One awkward thing about Sunnyvale.
I could also, like, try torching this.
I'll do my best.
Oh, thanks for the follow, Daymoth. Welcome to the stream. We're going over the games from the Throne Championship.
Sunny's kind of sitting back for a second.
Is there any good combo decks in the meta? I saw some people trying to play Reanimator, but I don't think it was good. There's like Taller Reanimator combo, but I don't think that's great either. Tota Pioneer is also a fantastic draw for me because now I get to make that same play, except I also get to have a Tota Pioneer in play. So I'm doing exactly what I talked about. I'm trading the Grand into the market and I'm getting a Persuader.
they pick up a Caleb's Persuader, so that'll ensure they're continuing to get more power.
You know, people were trying to play with that new card that costs 0 that buffs your relic weapon. You have to sacrifice a unit and you buff your relic weapon. That there might be something there.
Sabat going into the market with Ebondoon Smuggler. Last game we saw them pick up a Silverblade Menace, and this time they're going to go for Nullblade.
My opponent, I feel like if it was Warhelm, I would have just slammed it and attacked. Phoenix, there's not much they can really do about Phoenix. Like, but Nullblade is like really bad against Phoenix because it's never exposed to the Nullblade. Anyway, whatever. My opponent made the play they made.
Combination of that defile that they knew about.
Oh, Spire Kilo. Oh yeah. That one requires 5 million IQ. Like that is the Boxer deck. Okay, so clearly they're afraid of. I mean, like, whatever. My opponent kills the Toad Pioneer. Toad Pioneer is a card that, like, can get way out of hand. And especially given the draw with Granite Waystone, that is something that could have happened. So, I make the play that is, you know, very obvious. Play Persuader on the unit that can attack. Play the Waystone as second Margaret fodder from my Merchant. And play Oni Patrol. That is onslaughted.
Get to onslaught an Oni Patrol up to a 3/2.
And boy, was that relevant.
Imagine we'll see a defile.
You like high IQ text? It might be good for you. Okay, so definitely not blocking here. Absolutely not blocking this.
Wow, look at this attack from Sabat.
I do not want to trade any of my stuff for my opponent's stuff, if possible.
Want to leave one of those units.
No, Control took 2 of the top 4 spots in the past weekend.
They figure they can do it that way.
You know, I given what the board state looks like, Theo, yeah, it really doesn't end up working out for my opponent, but I kind of understand, you know, why. It really changes how I attack to bluff a Pride Leader. Because if I
tip the scales.
If I think that there's a Pride Leader, I might just not attack with this. And then, yeah, they get the attack in here, but you get the defile here, and you get to develop your 3/1. If they do that, I also make a different market decision, and, you know, I can get... I don't know if I actually do make a different market decision. I think that Shugo Standard is probably my best card in this matchup, but, yeah. Time to tip the scales. Admiral Rider, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream.
Whoa, and not using...
Okay, so... It takes me a while to think through this, but I know I'm getting the attack in, so I know I'm replacing the Fire Sigil. So I'm going to replace the Fire Sigil, not the Grandin, with Shugo Tactic.
Decision. If Sunnyvale doesn't play, maybe they were hoping to, if they hold up all of their power, they could threaten something like...
Because Shugo Tactic is like the only card that works well against ambush cards in my entire like 80 cards.
Given all of the different ambush units that they can mask by
I was using temporal control. Oh man. I heard someone lost to temporal control. Stormblast played against temporal control in the top 64 last week. Okay, so there we go. There's the attack. Here's the defile. Here's Damara. Block. I guess my opponent is like forced into this, and then we do a ton of damage with the tactic.
It will still be useful, but they really did it because they were expecting a Sabertooth Pride Leader. The bluff that Sabat made there stopped Sunnyvale from getting the Phoenix Stone that I think is the card that they really wanted to have gotten in this spot. This is a line that I don't think works especially well when you're playing against an unknown opponent who's really likely to just sort of...
I think BK is like on with the commentary here. Like
a high quality player like Sunnyvale knows that there might be some equity by trying to trick.
If I don't have a merchant there, if I have like a Milos or something. Oh, Milos doesn't count. Do I have any other charge units? No, maybe it just is bad to defile on the opponent's turn there.
Them in terms of thinking that they have another card in their known deck list.
Okay, so here my opponent eats my Grenadin. They're going to have to not block. Okay, so I drew Thunder Wings. I've got 6 power. I could just slam the Thunder Wings and attack with everything. Why did I not do that? Oh, right, because okay, so if I think that my opponent has a Pride Leader or basically any other basically if I play this for 5, I can't attack here. Not well. Like, I don't want to make this trade, but it might be worth it. Maybe that was just the wrong play.
Work. And yeah, Thunder
Maybe
of Wings is
Ilya's
fantastic.
right.
I mean,
Maybe I do just
can
hard
get
cast this
chunked
Thunder
for a
of
turn by the
Wings.
Blight Moth, but
Yeah, but you
Sunny's-
could end up.
Sunny's found a way to win to play a longer game, and it looks like they've been
Yeah,
able to
I don't
accumulate
think
a
I don't
lot
like
of
my
good face
I don't like my
damage.
play here.
Yeah, Sunny trying to figure out now, can I afford to give up any of these resources to kill this blight?
I think Ilya's right. I think I'm just supposed to play this for its full cost and attack with everything. Yeah, so what if, you know, my opponent eats this or whatever and eats this? If my opponent eats those 2 cards, then at least I still have burn in my hand. This way, if my opponent has Pride Leader, I at least get to sear it and finish it off. But, like, by that point, the game on the ground is done. Yeah, I think this is a misplay.
Blight Moth.
You gotta remember is Sunny probably still thinks there's a Pride Leader on the other side. Is probably going to be surprised here when he finally finds out that there isn't.
Yeah,
think
as
that
soon as Sabat just starts
these,
blocking here,
like, the units on the ground don't matter a ton here. It's not just a TV on in
And
the
now
room. There's
Sunny,
supposed to be someone talking.
ability to push Sabat
No, that's
down
the
to
commentary
zero
of the
before burning hand, but
of
would
the
they
tournament.
rather
Yeah.
use one of these sears to
Is he
kill
too
the
quiet?
other
I can turn it up a
smuggler
little.
and still push Sabat down to 7.
Yeah, this is the riskier line in the sense that now they don't have lethal burn, but looks like it's going to work out as Sabat just drew a few too many power cards this game.
Yeah, bricked off there finding another crest. Didn't actually find an Icario or, you know, a timepiece or something.
I
to pick
was
back up is
very
Sunny
surprised at this point.
lethal unit damage, lethal burn damage,
Yeah, talking to them. Oh,
and managing to
no,
navigate
I'm
a
just
few really tricky
waiting and let
situations in
that
spots where
happen.
Sabat
Okay,
didn't end up having
so 2
their
matches,
valuable
2
ambush
misplays,
units. Manages to
1
advance
misplay
top
per
8.
match. Not bad.
A really
Things
well
are
played
gonna
game by Sunny.
come off the hooks
They
though.
recognized
240,
that
19.
the enemy had redrawn down to 6. They'd gone into their market. They had good early tools for the early aggression and take on Big Xenon.
All right, so let's see what's happening here. This is the Big Xenon deck, and I wasn't very scared of this deck. After playing against a deck that was mono X4s and with Hailstorm in the market, I was very relieved to be playing a matchup that looked more like this.
What's that 7 cost card they've got in hand, Corey?
That is a Wrath of Kaifas.
Yeah, I knew that my
This is the
opponent
one that
couldn't
you can swap it for a
gain
power
health
card in your deck,
at fast speed
or
there.
once you get to 7 power, you can cause both players to discard their hands and redraw 7. Probably not going to be
Okay,
at its
so
best
1
in this
drop
matchup.
into 2 drop. My
Things
opponent's tapped
considered.
out. I'm just
Probably
hiding
not
any
some
sort
the
of
things
fast
that I
spell
really
or
want to
information.
do
I don't
is
have
to
any fast
allow
spells that
Sunny
cost
Vale
1
to
anyway.
Redraw a new hand and potentially
Alright,
turn
so
them
my
out.
opponent's kind of not
But
doing
definitely a
anything.
tool if they manage to gain enough health.
Attack.
You know, Sunny's cards individually
Okay, so
are a lot less
here is
powerful,
our
so
first
if
misplay.
Pink Shadow can get to a situation where, you know, they've got a bunch of power available and they're ready to recycle hands. Maybe that's something we'll see. From
This
them
is
later.
one spot where I think I actually could have played around. This is one spot where I think I actually could have played around a Blight Moth. Well, I don't know. But like playing
They're on
Kazuo into
now,
this,
they've chosen to trade it away for a
they shrink
Shadow
this.
Sigil.
No, if they have a Blight Moth, they kill these two.
Right,
No,
so
that's
Pink
fine.
Shadow's
Okay.
finally going to get things started with a Vara, and if that's your
Alright,
first
so
play of the
Vara,
game against
oftentimes when it comes down to these situations, you just pick the unit that costs the least because the game thinks that one is the worth the least. So sacrificing Kazuo
Mono
makes a
fire,
lot of
that's not a
sense
bad
here.
choice
Also,
to
these
take.
two can attack through
Yeah,
Vara,
all
so
things
like
considered, this is
makes
probably
sense. But I
one
do
of the
think I
best
make a misplay
fours
on
that
the
you
next
could ever
turn.
play against the mono fire strategy is
Okay,
Sunny
so
is going to
Jack.
prevent that.
So this is a really interesting spot. And I took a long time to think about what I wanted to do here. So there's no question. I can't. Whoops. I can't kill Vara with Jack. I'm definitely attacking with these two. That's for sure. Because I'm definitely attacking with this. I can't pump the brakes there. What? How do I do this? Basically, how do I do this? So I think there are two front runners here. The first is play Emblem. Well, okay, so if I'm attacking with this, I think I want to ultimate first, because if they block this, then I lose the ability to ultimate. Emblem Jack Decimate before combat. I strongly disagree with that. So what happens if I do that? Then my opponent makes this block anyway, and I've wasted the Jack activation. The only reason I would want to Jack this is if they make this block. Like, I think that's the only reason I would want to play Jack this turn. So I could play this, pay 4 to activate Kazuo, get the invoke, and then attack with these two. They probably have to make that trade anyway. Like, that's 5 damage. But I think that decimating is wrong. I don't think that I have the power to be able to freely decimate here. I think I need that power.
From growing up too large.
So what I do instead is I play this, and then I make the attack so that if they do make that block, I have Jack. But then, like, what do I even discard with Jack? Am I discarding the emblem? I guess, like, I think so. It's just, like, really messy, because I don't think I have the power to spare.
Something I was just realizing here, with the Cookmaster, Suny can actually play an emblem or a waystone here, give it 2 more strength, and then use
I think the thing to
Kazuo's
do was
ability
to
invoke
play
and
don't
draw
decimate
another
and just
fire
activate
up to
this,
7
get the
strength.
invoke. Like,
Might
invoke
get
is
to a
pretty
situation
powerful
where
when you've
Pink's
got a
just
lot
like,
of power.
Yeah, I need to block. I've got to trade off with this.
So I'm going to go ahead
He's
and
actually
count that as
making
another
even More
misplay.
aggressive attack than that. Also
I
attacking
think there
with
was a better
Kazuo
line.
before using its invoke ability, seeing if they can potentially bait Pink Shadow here into playing for the late game, keeping around
Like,
the 2 strongest units.
My line
position
might
off
not
the
be
Vara
the
with
worst
Jack.
thing in the world, but I do think that it doesn't make a ton of sense. I think that being decisive about power, activate, attack with these two, or... I just don't think that I should have decimated, basically.
This is a gut check moment for Pink Shadow. Take the Eat on
Bum, ba-da, ba-da, da. Ba-da, bum, ba-da, ba.
Kazuo will ultimate.
You're on fire, Suny
Golden
Slayer.
Fire. Maybe I was
Oh
choosing
no,
to
I
trigger a
lost
random
my
fire spell, unit or attachment, and they get a Breath of Vopress.
I lost my sub to Lady Lavinius. What's up, Visper? Thank you for all your support all these months. Welcome to the friend zone, and welcome in people from Rototo's stream. How's it going? If you're around Rototo, I'd love to hear from you. It's been a while.
The card can be pretty strong. Either deals 5 damage
Okay,
to a
so they're talking about possible applications of Breath of Vorprex, and I'm pretty sure, like, any line that involves me playing Breath of Vorprex is absolutely terrible. Because, well, it's just not a good use of my fire. Rototo, did you see the Terraria update? Is that something that interests you? Because I kind of want to play with some of my online friends. What were the other choices? They were not good. If I kept Breath of Vorprex, they were not good. I just like... I think they were just, like, totally unplayable, and I was just like, this is something that I could actually have the power to play at some point, but it's most likely just being tagged for VAR fodder. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I think I've seen you play Terraria. All right, well, I'm definitely going to check on... I haven't have plans on starting a game yet, but when I do, I'm definitely going to check on you, because I want to play with internet friends. I think that that's going to be an absolute blast. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
or 5 damage.
Okay, so my opponent's going to play Vara here.
Shadow's choice,
You know,
Breath of Vopress
pretty
is
straightforward. I've already used the ultimate on Kazuo.
Usually see
Pretty
the fire
clear
aggressive strategies for Go choosing to play with it. And here this looks
way
like
of
an
getting
amazing
rid of
spot
this.
for
Okay,
it. Suny's
so
applying
now
pressure to Pink
I
Shadow,
definitely
all the way
make this
down to
attack.
15 now.
Go up to
Potentially down
5
to
power.
20
My
if they
opponent
can
just
get
slams.
the
So someone mentioned I think one of the commentators mentioned that I could use Breath of Vulpix there, but then my opponent probably just takes 5, and I don't know. I'm further behind on development.
Just immediately trading off, just too afraid of leaving Sunnyvale with ways to make extra power.
Like
Yeah,
then
Breath of Vulpix is
my
just
opponent's at
another way that
13, and
Sunny
I'm
can
just
produce
like down a
extra
unit
base
that represents
when the game
damage
goes
over
long
time.
here.
So I don't think that was
And I really like
a
it
good
when
time
you
to
try to
do
save
that.
the Breath of
Okay.
Vulpix for a few turns.
So I
It
play on
makes
the
it
Gradient
so that it
Waystone. I think
makes
that
the
makes a lot of
decision so much
sense. I
harder.
play the Grandin. The reason why I play the Grandin, usually the Grandin is fodder, but I already have a card that's just garbage unless I use it for fodder. So I don't worry about keeping that in
If you only
hand.
have one blocker and you're low on health, what do you choose between those two for Breath of Vulpix?
All right, so Silverblade Mentor.
Yeah, we see Sunny kind of
for 0
playing to
damage.
that already.
All right, so
Really
what's the
just
play here? I've got a Breath of Vulpix. I could fire it off. Or I can just attack with everything. No, well, okay, let's see. The thing that I do here is I play this and I attack with these. Is that good? Just trading the 4/2 for, 6 damage or 7 if I attack with the Grandin. It's probably worth attacking with the Grandin, getting that extra 2 damage in, because the 1/1 is mostly inconsequential here. The 1/1 is like worth about 2 damage anyway, so I might as well make that attack. They probably have to make the block on the dragon anyway. I don't think they can block the 1/1. So decimating and playing Thunder of Wings makes sense here.
using their units as these resources to trade off with Pink Shadow's terrifying lifesteal units. And now they've got it down to just the single Valkyrie that they have to worry about.
So I think that the block is here. They're playing. They don't have a ton of
Managing
flyers.
to
Like the 4/2 is an
recreate
issue.
attackers here.
Yeah. Oh, that is a misplay. I should have played the elemental first and then this. If I'm not playing the elemental first, maybe it's worth actually playing Breath of Vulpix. No, I think that's still just tagged as Jack fodder. All right, misplay number 4. Sequencing. Granted, 1 point of life. But I mean, every point counts. If I missed a point leading up to the
he's
game 1
coming in for
against Keith,
Silverblade
maybe
Menace will trade with the 4/2
like,
dragon. Now
maybe he
another
comes
actual
back in that
elemental
one.
comes
Yeah, missed
down.
1 damage.
Oh, and
No.
brutal for Pink Shadow.
Not having
Alright.
a
Yeah, it doesn't end up mattering.
No
That's
units.
not an excuse, though.
This is where you definitely play the Wrath of Caiaphas, right? Nothing bad could happen if you do that.
what could possibly go wrong?
First of all, the Yeti Cookmaster would turn into a 15-1 on Pink Shadow's turn, and that would be hilarious.
I agree with the commentators that my opponent definitely
I
should have
wanna
played
see
the
it
Wrath
now,
of Caiaphas for
just to say
funsies
that
here.
I've seen a Yeti Cookmaster.
Yeah, I really want
strength.
them to draw 7 also.
Not something you get to see every
How
day.
is damage miss, Sizzle? If
I
I
mean,
play
Pink
this and
Shadow's in a
exhaust this
brutal
and attack
spot.
with everything, I get 1 more point through.
Yeah, you're in one of those situations of, can you actually imagine getting another turn here? And if you do, what are you hoping to draw that you can combine?
It's
with
not
this
as bad
dynamic
as
to catch you up
there are
against all
2
the things that
misplays that I'm
has?
thinking of that are in
They
the
should just keep
semifinals and
cashing the Wrath of
finals
Caiaphas for
games
power.
that I was just
Meanwhile,
thinking
for
about after I was like,
Sunnyvale,
oh my god, I
they're
made that
looking
on camera.
beautifully. They're gonna take a look at Pink Shadow's deck list, try to
Then
figure
you
out
can't
what
play the
ambush
3/2.
units might be waiting in the wings that could cause them to.
Am I crazy? Can't I just play the 3/2 and then play this? It's the same sequence. I just do it in a different order. Yeah.
Change their attack. Once they've confirmed that things look all clear, we'll see them make a big attack and finish this game off with either Church Chain Flail or Mercenary Hunter.
And Sunny immediately getting the good news on attacks that.
Yeah, I was
everything's
like, oh
over
god, my
here.
opponent has
Taking
something.
game number 1
Oh,
here
nope,
over
they
Pink
don't. All right, so
Sonny's
yeah, my opponent
has done a great job today of sequencing
running
their
much
cards,
colder than
of
me again,
understanding
which
when they
is
need
the
to
theme for the
slow
night.
down, when they need to push on the gas, and about taking.
Like I said, I
calculated
ran
risks. I saw a
hotter
pretty
than the
funny
face of
clip
the sun during this tournament.
him yesterday where he
Yes,
was describing how he
definitely,
got
Sizzle.
to the top 64
There's
and he
no
said,
question
I
about it.
always played as if they didn't have Hailstorm and then I never got punished. So, there's definitely a little bit of luck when it comes to these things, but when you're playing these aggressive decks, one of the things you want to make sure is that you don't hand your opponent extra wins.
I think
in the
that
sense of,
BK's
there's some
commentary
games
is
where
so
you're gonna
good.
lose to
Like,
Hailstorm no
can we
matter
take
which
a
way you
moment to
play.
appreciate that
It's worth
BK is just
recognizing
like,
that you can't beat a
not
Hailstorm no matter
only
how
is
you
he
play the game, so you might
extremely
as well
good at
just
card
shove all
games,
in.
but he's also very good at
Yeah, we've seen
articulating
Suny
it. And I
really
think
do a
that those two
fantastic
things
job of
don't go
that,
hand in
where
hand that
there have been
often.
spots where Suny can be completely
And
destroyed by something
BK
like a
just
Blight
is
Moth,
like the
and we've
perfect
now seen
combination of
them
them.
play against the second Xenon deck.
I mean,
off the
obviously
back of
Corey
those
is
reps with Blight
fantastic
Moth.
also, but like,
And Sunny's,
I
Sunny's
just
not
feel
afraid.
like the way that
He's willing to just, here are
BK
my
can
units. Here, I've
articulate
got
it
3 Onis as
is
my draw
just
this game, or I've got
unbelievable.
these 2 Yetis this time, and sure, if you have a Blight Moth, it's going to be really rough. I'm going to struggle to come back, but I'm going to fight through it. Because the number of times when it doesn't happen, it's just so much more powerful.
I don't know, I
and
kind of feel
more
sorry for
efficient of a
Keith
start.
Peleg the most. That's the second time he made it to the finals.
All
Alright, so let's see.
Sunny's
Is my hand keepable? Well, I've got a 1-drop and a bunch of 3-drops, so I guess so.
got a solid looking draw of Kazuo into Torch. Nothing phenomenal.
So, what do I lead
Shadow.
here? Do I throw away... Okay, so looking at this hand, I don't think that I already have a merchant. Like, when I'm looking at hands with this deck, I'm looking at what is my fodder for Jack or merchant. Because you can generate cards. How to say this? This deck has a lot of competing effects for generating cards out of ways that you flood. Like turning extra power into value, whether it be with a merchant or with Jack or with an emblem. And here, I already have 2 ways of, mitigating the flood, so there's no way that I actually want to decimate my emblem here.
They've got their trademark breath of
I
focus in
didn't
here,
like
but
the
they've got
veteran
some
of 10
Ebon
words.
Smugglers, which can do blocking.
Wait, no,
starting
Sizzle, that's the person before
They still
them.
have this Pale Rider's timepiece to build to. It's not one that they're playing as many
I
copies
disagree.
as
I
some
think
of the
that
other
Mono
Xenon
Fire
decks
was a
this
great deck for the
weekend,
tournament.
but, I mean,
I think that the matchups I played were not necessarily the best, but you look at the other side of the bracket with like Huru Control and whatnot. And I'm just trying to play as many charge units as I can. Like, part of the reason why I played the deck that I did is because I was considering control decks. The other deck that I was considering heavily is like Stone Scar or something, which I saw none of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I misread your comment, Sizzle Steam. My bad. I just saw the 4 Blight Moth, and I assumed that you were following that up with 4 Iron, 4 Var's Favor, 4 Pride Leader, and 4... What was the other one that was really bad for me? Yeah, that...
or just do some
I was
serious
just
work
in
that
disbelief
if
that, like, when I
Shadow
attacked for
gets
the
to a
win, it
spot where
actually
they're
went
able to
through. I was just
leverage
like, how'd
Pale
that
Rider's
happen?
timepiece, they'll be able to do
Okay.
just massive work with it.
Let's also appreciate that I drew 2 perfect cards. Wait, I'm going second. Yeah, so I drew the Grant Coin, right? So this turn I have a perfect play of playing Grant Coin, Oni Patrol.
All right, Kazuo comes in, and an Oni Patrol off the top is a nice way for Sunny to be able to spend all of their power with a depleted Granite Coin coming down.
I think that this deck was significantly better than the Stone Scar decks out there. Like, I think that people are really underestimating how much power is built into the power base with Seal of Devotion and Granite Coin and the Waystone. Like, I think that the more effects there are, like Jack and like Merchant, the more powerful that those cards become. I was definitely happy I picked this deck over Stone Scar. Like, Stone Scar did not perform nearly as well in my experience.
Everything's coming in for Sunny. We'll see an Ebon Dune trade off.
I think, given the contents of their hand sizzle, that they were doomed either way. But yeah, it definitely wasn't the best line to make there.
Block the Kazuo here in case it can ultimate.
So my opponent has a Pride Leader in their mark, and they don't get it.
No, just choosing to
I
preserve
can't
their health pool.
emphasize
I think I like this from Pink
how
Shadow. You have the
fortunate
ability
I
to
felt
play a
when my
longer game,
opponent
you're not gonna
played.
risk of ruin, like,
Okay, so here I already have the 4th power. I'm going to get Persuader. Makes total sense to trade out the Seal of Devotion for Persuader.
the last game where you're going to play a longer game and then just not be able to keep up with the fire deck. I think that this one, it's okay to kind of preserve your health.
Did I-
Even
Did I even play Jack in that game? I'm not sure I played Jack.
with the lifesteal units in hand. But we will see how it ends up playing out as Sunny
Anyway,
Vale is
so
setting up their mid-range
yeah,
strategy are pulling that Caleb's Persuader out of the market.
I've consistently been
okay, there goes
right
Kazuo.
way for Sunnyvale to ensure they can
I can't
continue
do
to
anything
take
about
power
it.
drops
Blightmoth
and
just wrecks
flying
me every
damage
time.
through
So, I
mid-sized
mean, I don't
blockers.
really have
Or
an option
Persuader
here, right? I have to
really
go
does a
Persuader
ton
on
of lifting
Merchant,
for these fire
and
decks in
I
terms
have
of
to
being able to
attack.
survive
Like,
against
that's
the
just what's
sort
going
of
to
the
happen.
roadblocks
I
of the
was
format.
so thrilled that my
It's also
opponent
just
played
looked like
Dark
the
Return there. I
perfect
was like,
complement to
oh,
Jack.
good. I don't have to worry
Every
about
time
Pride
that we see
Leader.
Sunnyvale
Well, I mean, not,
have a
until
Jack
they
in
play
hand
another
and they go
Merchant.
get that Persuader out of the market.
And they didn't
sigh
have
of
like a
relief
Defile
of,
up or something.
okay, I'm
So,
gonna be
here we
able to
go.
enable this, and I'm gonna make it as powerful as I know that Jack can be. But then
Opponent can't block,
now
obviously.
it's the situation of, well, can I deal with whatever units my opponent's producing?
Okay, so there's
We do
kind of
see
an
Sunnyvale
interesting
pressure Pink Shadow down to
decision
full
point
points of
here.
health now.
Most of the time when my opponent plays Vara against my deck, I have to sacrifice something. I can't get through a 5/5 deadly lifesteal. There's just no way for me to do it. So my plan is just to... What was my plan here? Is this right? So if I sacrifice this, it sucks for me, but at least I get to play Jack, kill the Vara, discard the Sigil, get a treasure trove. If not, I have Jack Torch, so I get to make the trade anyway. So my plan is just to trade these off. And then I have, Jack still in hand.
A little scary for Pink Shadow. They see a Tazbu on top. That means they're not going to
Yeah, so like going into this turn, I'm thinking no need to sacrifice this. I'll get the Sigil out of it. My opponent gains 2 life this way, but I think the Sigil is worth it, especially, I have Merchants, I have Jack, I have whatever. I'm probably going to get a treasure trove off the Jack. So I'm just going to trade this off and whatnot. But then I'm like, hold on a second. So what confused me here is I can't get the double damage on Jack, right? And that's what happened here. I can go power, discard something, and torch this. That costs 5 power, and get the Vara off the table.
It's deadly, but it's...
Oh, I don't even do that much. It's for like 3, 4 life?
There's a little bit of fear thinking about it.
I was just about to make a comment about, man, Sunnyvale.
So like, I have this Jack in hand, and I've got the Fire Sigil in hand. I'm thinking for so long that I'm going to get double damage on this Jack. And then I realize, hold on a second. If I don't get double damage on this Jack, I think that's just better.
Must know these interactions so well, because that was just a no hesitation. Immediately, I was waiting for the space to confirm the attack, but
A 2x life gain is cancelled by
something to do with the Pioneer.
I think they might want to get down Toto Pioneer first. When they draw the Fire Sigil off of the Persuader, Toto Pioneer will see that and give some extra.
Oh, right, because the 2 damage. But they can double block. In fact, they probably should double block if I make that play.
Oh, look at this. Sunny's taking a different line altogether.
So it actually is worth a life point.
Torch the bar, which means the Ixton Merchant continues to keep coming in. And yeah, this is looking like it's going to work out really well for them.
Hey, what's up, Darkest Tempest?
Really
How's it going? We're
And
going
all the
over
while being able to hold this Toto Pioneer
we're going
in
over
hand,
the games
so
from
Pink
this
Shadow
past weekend
doesn't
and
know
counting my
that this is what the
misplays.
game's going to be about on the next turn of 2 giant overwhelm units. Really heads up play here by Sunnyvale.
You're getting a bit desperate for Pink Shadow. Just an Evan Dude Smuggler and Devour is available plays. They're going to start things off with Devouring the Blightmoth, hoping to find something like an Annihilate.
Why
Merchant.
face
They
not
don't get
Moth
there.
with second 2 damage? Is that wrong? The Moth wasn't doing anything. Yeah, like, the Moth was... It was a 1/2. I didn't have anything that died to it, so... And it wasn't, like, blocking well or anything like that.
I think we might be seeing the end for Pink Shadow here.
Okay, so here, treasure trove, draw a card, replace it, have 4
Pioneer, draw a
power,
treasure
pump
trove,
Jack,
pump up the Jack, I imagine.
and
Yeah,
even
now
through
two
removal
6
spell,
strength
that's
overwhelm units
game.
brawling in.
Pink Shadow could block the Abandoned Smuggler, but that's 12 overwhelm damage, and that will do it for Pink Shadow.
All right.
Good run for them making it to the
On
top
to the
8, but
semifinals.
Sunnyvale moves right along.
333.
Swift
This
fashion,
is
winning back-to-back games.
Really heads up moment there just to stop and
Use some ways to actually do that.
Oh,
Use
let's
some
back
ways
up
to
a little. Okay. Game 1, I'm very lucky and start on the play. Oh, yeah. They're... Like, they essentially played Dark Return as a 4-cost 3/3 ambush, right? They got Dark Return. Considering how much of a nightmare Pride Leader is for my deck, I feel like that was... Well, whatever. Okay, so... I get extremely lucky in that I go first. I have turns 1, 2, and 3 set up, but it does not go my way.
All right, Sunny kicking things off with an Oni
So
Patrol
here,
on the bottom of your screen.
I
They've
go
got Lightning Sprite and Foul Rock ready to go, but
turn
they could
2
use some
Toto
early plays
Pioneer.
to slow down Mono Fire deck that Sunny.
Hold on. What's the play here? No, I just play the Cookmaster.
He's got.
ooh, Sonny gonna ask, what are you cooking with already?
Right now,
Really love
Sunny's got a bunch of cards which key off if you're drawing extra cards, but
Yeah, so
use some
I
ways
figure,
to
like,
actually
you
do
know what?
that.
I'm already going to get blown
Yeah,
out by a Blight Moth. I'm
no
just going to
access
pretend it doesn't
to
exist, so I play this.
enabled
Attack with both,
Waystones,
play the coin,
emblems,
play Toto
anything of that
Pioneer.
nature, so we're
Now,
just
here, if I draw
points
something that lets me
here.
draw a second card,
The Toto Pioneer.
oh, I guess
requires
actually a
even more
merchant is
tools to
not
follow up on the
fantastic.
next turn if Sonny can find any way to draw additional cards. Is
What I really want
Gallop
is a
here
power to be able to cash in
This
some
is the Blight
damage
Pass one,
before
though,
my
next
opponent
turn.
hailstorms
What do
the
they have
heck
in
out
their
of
market,
me.
though? What can you answer this board with? And a Hailstorm's gonna be fantastic.
Because, like, if I pump this, at least I get to attack for 7, you know? I get to attack for 7, I've got 6 points of burn in my hand.
Card called Hailstorm. You ever seen it?
Yeah, once or twice.
So,
Okay.
I don't think I have much
tough spot.
option. My only real decision... So, my point is absolutely hailstorming no matter what, right? That's 100% the card they got out of their market. Not doing it. I guess, like, actually, Gallop didn't have to hailstorm on this turn based on what I did here. I trade 2 cards for their Blight Pass. But anyway, like,
For Sunny,
I think I
they
just
know
attack.
Gallop, and then Jack
Just
was
attack
out
and I
of
sear
these
this.
tournaments.
Because, like, would I
64
trade
has
a
a
seer
Hailstorm in the
for
market. It
a
seems like the
1/4?
obvious
Yeah,
bet.
I mean, 1/4 blocks all my
I don't have
units.
a ton of tools to play around it, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sonny's hand, Sonny doesn't actually have any of the tools that are going to enable them to play a strong late game here. There's not a Thunder of Wings that's going to help turn the corner. There's no Ixnay Merchant or a Jack that's going to give a different dimension to the hand. So we're just going to see Sonny make an all-out attack here.
Scary thing, though, for Sunny is that if you don't actually make your board threatening enough and just allow M Gallop to...
I guess so. I have to
Develop,
have power
might be an
sigil
even worse
jet,
spot than,
right? I have to have a
Hellstorm
pretty
eating your
specific...
lunch, so to speak.
Actually, you know what, Sleffer? That can't happen because I missed a power drop. If I had the Jack power, then I'd just play a power, right? Though it is possible that I top deck, I have a Jack in hand, I top deck the Sigil, and I have Seal of Devotion underneath. So that is a possibility, but I think that's the only situation where, you know, you get super blown out.
Definitely. And we will see.
So I actually
Sonny
wonder
use
if
that
it's better
Seal
to just play the Blightplast Smuggler. I don't know what you get from the market, but that forces me to commit more.
finish off Smuggler. And M Gallop paying respects here. To
What are Gallop's choices from the market? I know there's like some junk in there like Transpose, but there might be something useful there. Let's see. What seed was M Gallop? Oh, there we go. Okay, so the market is Swift Refusal, Transpose, Hailstorm, Turn to Seed, Silverblade Menace. Turn to Seed's pretty good. There's just, like, not really a card that they can safely ditch, right? Oh, like if I play Jack there, even if I do have the Jack to shoot the Blight Blast Smuggler, like, then you get to pick it up with the Hailstorm, and that's pretty good. So, I'm not convinced that Hailstorming there was 100% correct. I don't know. I definitely won against Days Undoing because they Hailstormed when they didn't have to.
If Sunny finds ways to draw additional cards, let's use the
Okay,
Hailstorm.
so here I
Immediately as a
drew,
follow-up, Sunny's
yeah, something
gonna
that
make
lets
a
me draw an
really
additional
wide
card,
board.
and that lets me flood the board. Look, I end up losing this
Managing
game
to get down
anyway.
all 3 units is really
I'm
impressive.
pretty sure.
For M Gallop, they're going to be able to make when they discard the last card from their hand by discarding this Fell Rock.
Power card would have been really nice for Sunny as well, being able to activate the Toto Pioneer.
Yeah, so
Dipping
here,
over 1/1
Thunder of
damage.
Wings is really awkward. It's usually a pretty good card in this matchup because it attacks pretty well, but not into a Thunder Sprite. So what's my line? Okay, so this play is correct. After the Hailstorm,
And then
after the
Gallop,
Hailstorm,
same
just playing out
receptor
my
because
entire
you have
hand,
the
right? They have no
Toto
more
Pioneer,
Hailstorm.
it's
I
too
can't really
worried
get punished
about
for
what
going wide.
things
It's just a
may
matter
happen.
of, yeah, there's a
Sunny
Fell
finds
Rock
ways
that
to
makes
draw
me
additional
discard my
cards, let's
torch,
use the
but
Hailstorm, and
I have to discard something to
immediately
it
as a
anyway.
follow-up, Sunny's gonna make a really wide board here.
Yeah, managing to get down all 3 units is really impressive. For M Gallop, they're going to be able to make when they discard the last card from their hand by discarding this Fell Rock.
Okay, yeah, I think I didn't really have a real choice there. If I'm getting blown out by, if my opponent has a Fell Rock that they can play on the next turn, it's gonna be bad for me either way.
Activate the Toto Pioneer, giving over
Okay, so
one of their units.
Drew Thunder Wings. So I don't have to attack with the 3/2 Reckless here. I can use it. I can exhaust it in order to play Thunder Wings. It's definitely an option, but I think that I want to make the attack with this, this, and this if possible this turn. So it makes sense to exhaust the Toto Pioneer and just go in with that. It kind of sucks that I lose my Thunder Wings and I'm just
Not able to sync that
trading,
one
you know, like
through
this
just yet because the
3/2,
Lightning Sprite.
but I don't think
Yeah.
there's much I can really
I think
do about that.
Sunny's just as much pressure as they can here. M Gallop will just trade off with the Pioneer and the Thunder Brood from Thunder of Wings.
All right, so here there's just this. Really?
These 2 Blight Moths to follow up are
afraid
going to
of.
be able to take out this Toto Pioneer and really cut off Sunny's
This
late
Toto
game potential
Pioneer
here.
makes me a trade. Okay.
Oni Patrol.
All right, so I'm looking at this Oni Patrol and I think it's garbage.
Could attack with both
Like, if I had-
and actually trade with a Blight Moth, but how much is that really?
Yeah, I was like, okay, so if I draw a merchant
Sunny
or something, I'm
rather
going to want a unit
hold
in
out
play
for better
for
options here, but
Persuader, and that's why I
unfortunately
kept
for them,
in at this point.
Double enabled
you know,
champion of cunning.
it's
gonna pop up
pretty-
these Blight Moths,
It's
and
pretty
I think from the Gallop
academic.
side, we're
My
now
opponent
gonna
just
see the Gallop
attacks
turn the corner
here,
here.
make sure they
Sunny's
don't
only at
die, and then they
24,
attack
and
with
that's
their
13
flyers on the
points
next
of
turn.
Flying strength on Gallop's side. Gallop just looking for the safest way to turn the corner. Leave as many blockers back as possible just to make sure they don't.
I didn't do the
don't
math,
give Sunny a,
but-
a door to open
oh,
here.
I mean, whatever. Does it really matter?
Nerve Claws finds unstable form and some power.
Like, 3/4
The thing
flying.
about Champion of Cunning is that they don't have to really.
I don't know if there's a 3-drop that punishes me, but like,
It doesn't really take too long for them to
it's
kill with
that
it.
strike me as a
They're able
really
to attack
risky
this
play.
turn for 10, and then next turn they'll definitely have lethal.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
I don't think
having
that
the power
there's
to activate this Kazuo,
much
gonna
I could have
pack it
done
in,
there.
And Gallop's going to take game number 1 here over Sunnyvale.
All right, and
Looks
this
like
is
one of
right
the
after. I
key
didn't
moments
actually
there
know.
was one
Keith Peleg is
was
also a
unable
member
to
of
find
Friends
a
of
way
Eternal,
to
so I was
pump up
rooting
that
hard for
Yeti
them.
with
Like, I
Master
think
on that
Donnet's great
turn.
and all, but
be able
was
to
definitely rooting
apply
hard
a
for
bunch
Keith
of
Pale
extra
again. I didn't actually
damage
get to watch
prior
the end
to
of the
Sun
other
Star coming
semifinals
down
match.
and
I would
pulling
have
the
liked to.
Hailstorm out of the market.
I didn't see
I
the
think if Sunny
epic
was able to push one
educator's
more point,
gavel. I saw it on the replay. I was
maybe
like,
could have gotten
wow.
Gallop to play in a much safer way, and Sunny could have found a way to
That
pump him out,
card.
if
I
you
guess it.
will,
I mean, I
finding
guess it's
extra ways to
pretty
deal some
reasonable
base
in that
damage.
matchup anyway.
Yeah,
But
Sunny really had all of the
man,
pieces.
I
that
feel
keyed
like
off of
that was
drawing
an
extra card for his
maybe it
fire,
wasn't
for that sort of
necessarily an
sub-theme
uphill
in his
battle,
fire
but it
aggro
was
deck. Just was
not going to
missing
be
the emblems
easy.
or Granite Waystones or
So
merchants to really push it into overdrive. All right, so Sunny will be on the play in game number 2 in this best of 3 match, and we'll see if they can make the comeback. All right, for game number 2 here, Sunny's.
okay, so my hand is
solid
obviously
opener with
great.
a
There's
pair
no
of
way I'm
1
shipping
drops,
this
a
back.
2-drop, a 3-drop, and
Kazuo
3
into
power.
Total
That's
Pioneer
how we
into
like to do it
like
in the Fire Aggro house.
I don't know, whatever.
M Gallop, they've got some new spice. 2 copies of Mother of Skies. The 2 costs 1/4 flyer.
Yeah, a really rough blocker for Sunny to be able to deal with. 4 health is just a rather rough size that early on in the game, and the ability to go wide. And
It's
make
possible I would have gotten blown the heck out that I was supposed to go coin there, but I think that coin is pretty important in this matchup in order to attack my 3Xs into their X4s. I think a lot of people thought for sure that Gallop had this one. I posted a screenshot of chat in of what this one looked like. Okay, so so I make this attack. You know, there's no downside to doing it. Unless I really don't want my opponent to have the shade for whatever reason. And then, like, halfway through, I'm like, do I really want to use the Grant coin here and just play, like, X-Stun Merchant or something?
Granite Coin will finish off the Blight Moth now.
I don't have good fodder, but I do think that it is better to trade the Grant coin for this. Like, that's basically free. That's as good as this Grant coin can hope to be. I mean, obviously, I think Grant Coin is pretty good in loss. Well, actually, hold on. That might, like, my opponent has a lot of X4s. I could have played a 3X that turn, traded Kazuo for a Persuader, but I couldn't even play the Persuader. If I go to the market on that turn, like, sure, I have the 2 power from the Seer, but I can't use it. So, this might have been wrong. Like, what's my, I play Coin and Kazuo instead, and then like I ultimate Kazuo the next turn. I think that's a fine line. It's certainly defensible. Anyway, when we get to the stage in the, I'll share the chat.
Real question is for Sunny: do you run out the Kazuo knowing they have a shade in play? And answer to that is no.
Interesting, choosing to hold on there.
Wait, I didn't play it because I knew that there was a shade. I think that was wrong. I think I'm supposed to just play the Kazuo, let it get taken out, then play the Merchant, and just, like, Warhelm on the next turn. I think I like either of the other 2 plays better than this one. Like, if I was going to play the coin there, I think I needed to play Kazuo as well. Yeah. Alright, there's another misplay.
And Gallup's going to use their turn here to deploy a Mother of Skies, seek power, finding the 5th power. Now, so they're locked and ready to go with these champions in their hand.
Sunnyvale is the time to transition into that Caleb's Persuader long game.
So here, what's the play? Attack? So the only 2, it's either attack first and then figure out what to do, or play Merchant, get the Warhelm, and attack. But I think this is a situation where I really want the Caleb's Persuader, right? Like, I've got a power that I can, like, I'm kind of flooded. Persuader's just, like, the biggest piece of action in my market. So I think it makes a lot of sense to get that here, unless I want to be super aggressive with
Time to tip the scales.
Warhelm. Time to tip the scales. RV Arsenal, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. There's a lot of card games and music going on here. No, I just wanted this to fade away before I played Kazuo. That's why I didn't do it.
Right now, you can get back up to 3 power, gaining 2 power off the Toad of Pioneer when you draw that card out of the market. So it'd be unable to deploy the Persuader this turn.
So I think this is fine. I think making the attack first makes sense.
Sunny might be.
And this is probably the most important decision that Sunny has of this game is how are they going to use this Ixton Merchant? If they use it now, it can really reshape the game in their favor if they use it, if they get the right thing.
I think Blight Moth is fine. If your opponent isn't
Sam
playing
Gallop is
X1s,
just
it's like pretty
Gallop with Blight
underwhelming.
Moth.
Like,
really
yeah,
care, but-
corrupted units that are X2s
Sam
are
Gallop already knowing
are
I'm
pretty
playing
wild,
Mother of
but
Skies
even
next
so.
turn. I'm gonna try to build a really
Okay,
wide
so
board,
here,
trying to build
trade
my Chaos
a
Suny
Fire Sigil for a
champions.
Persuader, play
1
Kazuo.
health, more than enough for M Gallop there with their shade. They're gonna
I was really surprised that there was a block there.
gain that one there. As Sunny is gonna use their Extant Merchant. What are they gonna find? They do find that Persuader you're talking about, Andrew. And the Kazu is gonna join the party as well.
And Mother of Skies comes down, and we'll see a Permafrost on the Ixton Merchant.
Okay, so
All right,
what's the play here?
Sigil.
Slap the Persuader on something, probably Kazuo. I think it makes sense to put it on Kazuo because like the Toad of Pioneer is a threat, right? It makes all my other units into threats. So just put it on Kazuo and attack. Hold on to the Sigil because I'm going to need it for Jack to shoot down those Mother of Skies in the next turn.
In hand right now. We'll be able to get it with the Persuader.
so for M Gallop, a pair of Flying Aegis Champion of Cunnings. Can this be enough to swing the tide?
All right,
and
so
look
at
that?
this point, yeah, and my opponent played a bunch of 1/4s that make 1/2s that are impossible to attack into. So at this point, chat looks like this. People have given up on my any chance that I have of mounting comeback. There's also I miss Gurgu PM adding to the mix of making similar comments here.
That procs both the Mother of Skies.
I think my line here is pretty straightforward. I need to kill both Mother of Skies. And there's an argument to be made for not attacking with Kazuo, but I think if I can trade Kazuo for a Sigil and the champion, I think it's just worth it.
Milo's just a little bit outclassed.
There's
right
also potentially, like, Mother of Skies is just such a huge issue for me. Like, 1/2s are really bad for me. No, I mean, like, I'm not singling out anyone. Like, Lights Out Ace is qualified for Worlds. Gurgu PM is one of the best players that's not qualified for Worlds. Like, I think it just looked. My opponent's at 16. They have a Champion of Chaos that has, Champion of Cunning that has Aegis in play. They've got another Champion of Cunning in hand. Yeah, I mean, this is just a sign that Jack is totally busted.
However,
I
Sunny
knew it wasn't
has
over.
enabled a way to open the door here.
I think there's also like some early congratulations here. Wait, did I? Was that in there? Oh yeah, the GG. Okay.
This Jack can pitch this Fire
All right.
Sigil. to
So
take out the
I
two
think this is
Mother
the
of
right play.
Skies.
I think that attacking with Kazuo makes sense here,
Now Sunny actually in a
and now you don't
situation
get to see
where-
it.
Oh.
It's going to trade with the Champion of Cunning.
Well, Sunny making their attack, they're gonna be able to attack here, and this Champion of Cunning actually gain that 2 power back, and Amgala's actually gonna be in a tough situation.
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay.
Whether or not
Okay.
that they want to block with that Champion.
Here they could
All right,
go
chump
back down
instead
to
of
the action.
trade. What does that really accomplish, though? Do you think that's better, Sizzle? I think you trade. Like, unless you draw the removal spell. First of all, if you draw the removal spell, it means you're not playing another Champion of Cunning. So it's like not even that good of a use of a turn. And if you don't, then you're just playing another Champion of Cunning, and the same thing's happening on the next turn.
It does look.
Even if they do have the shadow influence, because like you're still not able. Well, I guess if you have 5 shadow, you get this down, and you have an X you have like a 5-1 of these, then it makes
Looked like
sense,
M.
maybe.
took the trade. So now Suny
Okay, so
really
obviously
well ahead
just
on the board,
play
but
another
can
5-5
they
here.
actually tangle with this?
Oh yeah, so hold on. Let's revisit that post-combat Milos. So here, obviously doing this, obviously
Milos is
attacking,
a little bit
and
outclassed right now.
I draw an extra power, so I have 3
However,
power.
Suny
Might as well play
has
the
been
Milos.
able
I
to
know that
way
there's
open
not
the
going to
door
be
here.
a
These
hailstorm to
Jackins
punish me
versus
for
Fire
playing
Sigil
Milos.
take out the 2 Mother of Skies. And now Suny actually in a situation where
If they do that, they drop to 2 Sizzle.
well, Suny making their attack,
I think
they're gonna
that
be able
Gallop
to
made
attack
the right
here,
play
and this
there.
champion of Cunning actually gain that
Did
2
Gallop
power
ever
back,
have a
and
chance to kill
now
Pioneer?
Gallup's
Only
actually gonna be in a
permafrost, so
tough
no.
situation to know whether or not that they want to block with that champion. So we come back down to the
Yeah,
action,
but
and
you
it
don't
does
like
look like
permafrosting.
Gallop
It does
took the
nothing.
trade. So now Suny really well ahead on the board, but can they actually tangle with this extra champion of Cunning here?
Okay, so I think this is a pretty clear line. I'm going to make the pump on the Jack and attack. The question here is, do I also attack with Milos? So if I do that, the way it works out, the answer is a resounding no. But I think it might have been correct, because if you make the block here, Milos just gets in for free. If not, if they like, you know, chump or double chump or something on the Jack, which has overwhelm, then like I just have a Jack. I have a Jack with overwhelm. I've got a Seer in hand. They're at 4. Is that right? 6, 4. No. They're at 8, 6. They're at 6. So I thought about that. I was also thinking about attacking with the Tota Pioneer, but I was like, man, that's a really gutsy play.
Oh, Suny could put a Pioneer up the Jack here.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go through the options, shall we? Now that we have time. Like I was also feeling the pressure of like, I'm, you know, if I think through this, it's a really complicated like attack, and if I do it wrong, like it could be really really bad. This is close to right. So unless we find that it's like way better to do something else, I'm not going to count it as a misplay. Okay, so attack with the Jack and the Milos. If they block here and they just get hit by the Milos, they take 7 damage. Yeah, okay, so attacking with all 3 is not, yeah, you're right. Not attacking with the Pioneer makes sense, because it doesn't make sense to block the Milos there, unless for some reason it's better to eat the Milos and then do this. Yeah, I definitely am not supposed to block with the Pioneer here. Oh, if they eat that, they 6, so they take 7 here, they take 3. I get a Seer. Do I? Seven, 3. They're down to 4. I've got some units in play. They've got a bunch of 1/2s. No, but I lose the Jack, so I only have a 3/2. So right, I don't attack with the Pioneer, that's for sure. Do I also attack with the Milos? They trade there and take damage. They block those 2. They make the double jump and they block this. So like the way that they blocked, it's definitely worse if I had attacked with Milos, but I'm not sure that that's absolutely like that's an absolute. If they block there, no. Yeah, if they block there, then they take the damage from that. Then they're down to 4. If they block this way, then they're down to 6. I just don't have Milos. I think this attack is right. I think it's just the Jack. Okay, what do you guys say? Jack doesn't care about what used to play, pushes through any of them. I do think the Miles swing is correct, but not with the Pioneer. But I am actually going to say that this is the right attack. No, because I'm playing Oni Patrol next turn. No, you're right. I should have attacked here also. Okay, misplay count up. Debatable whether it's a misplay. Like,
This is for Tom.
it took me a long time to think through all those various options. Like, if I had made a wrong attack, it could have been disastrous. Like, I could have gone from being pretty far ahead to being really far behind. So, yeah, 5.5 or something like that. One Antic, I remember seeing in chat, you made a really funny comment at some point during this. I forget what it was, but I was like, that's pretty hilarious.
6 strength, double damage, overwhelmed Jack is going to be a rough situation for Gallop.
And Sunny's thinking about potentially attacking with that Milos, recognizing how likely the Champion of Cunning is to block it. I actually liked attacking with the Milos. Wow, look at this. Gallop is just going to block with the Cloud Snakes. I'm kind of stunned. I don't know how you can withstand another hit from this Jack.
Attacking with both lures the misplay block.
Yeah, Gallop really putting an emphasis on.
Don't you mean just attacking with Jack lures the misplay block? Or you mean, oh, I see. The misplay is making that block.
Find some sort of way to fight over this Tota Pioneer or this Jack.
Oh.
And they found a permafrost. Huge draw for Gallop.
Okay, I missed lethal here. This is, I don't even need to, I know what's happening. So, I missed the fact that I had a Tota Pioneer in play. If I just go, trade... Let's see, what's the play here? I definitely figured it out. My opponent's at 6. Yeah, if I trade the coin for a Warhelm, I still have 3 power. I just see your face, attack with everything, and it's lethal.
Blows.
Second. You'll get him next time, One Antic.
What happens if you just Tota Pioneer one of...
Yeah, get Warhelm, trade the Grand Coin for Warhelm. I have the power left over for Seer.
Will overwhelm for 2 damage, assuming Champion of Cunning blocks the bigger overwhelm unit. And then...
the other one gets eaten. You then use the coin to put down to 3. Yes, Sunny's taking your line here, Andrew, just sending everybody in. And it looks like the blocks are going to end up such that...
It's possible, Theo, that the game is deterministic at this point. Like, my opponent can't... There's no way for... I don't think there's any card that lets Gallop win from this, right? They're at 2. They can't get a Fade Sages. They can't go to the market. So, like, I think my... Like, I just missed lethal. Like, that's a misplay... I missed guaranteed lethal. That's a misplay, even though it was not possible for me to lose from this place.
Wow, and it looks like
otherwise
Sunnyvale has found a route to tie up this match at 1 apiece. I did not like their chances after double Mother of Skies.
Oh, you're saying you're right. We're talking about the block with the double Cloud Snake block.
Yeah, we were seeing it put on a clinic in Expedition last weekend, and Sunny was just like, yeah, that looks pretty strong. Has anybody tried doing this in Throne at all? And Sunny putting it to great work there against those 2 Mother of Skies that I think if Sunny doesn't manage to find a way to kill those 2 Mother of Skies that turn, that game's
10k gold enter the tournament, have 30k. I have this modifier and
spot to get if the Shadow Influence are buffing up their team. And Sunny's
well, I'm glad that you were able to accumulate 20k gold, Darkest Tempest.
Just another spot that we saw the combination of
yeah, that's possible, TV Kelly, but like
giving this fire deck the ability to play into that mid-late game.
It doesn't like it doesn't add up in my head how that ends up happening.
Better than his and after he gets that killed Persuader, because that card really
it's obscene at grinding. Well,
right,
I think even after the tournament, I think people are like underselling how well the deck is. Like Theo was saying, I think Stone Scar is better, but I'm like pretty confident that Stone Scar isn't better than this.
Our second semifinal, Gallop will be.
Okay, so actually, hold on. Let's go back to that hand. Is this hand keepable? Going second, Grant Waystone. What am I going to play? Double Kazuo, and we're going to play nothing into Tota Pioneer. The reason why I ship this hand back is I'm going to 7. This deck is capable of much better hands, and I think I'll need a good hand in order to win. Like, I think if I just have a medium hand, maybe I can get away with it if I'm on the play, but definitely not in the draw.
Has popped a lot for him. All right, it's time for game 3 here. in our second semifinal. M Gallop will be on the play. Kept a tricky looking 7, Corey. Got a permafrost, but that's the only play they know they can make.
Yep, this is one
So,
of these situations.
you
where
know,
Gallop where-
after the second turn, you know, after the first draw step for both of us, it's like, oh god, both players have 2 power. This could be really bad.
there's an insignia, if there's a crest, anything of that nature on top of their deck, their hand just looks really awesome. Mother of Skies, not too shabby either. Great blocker, perfect size, and now that's just gonna make finding even a primal
All right,
sigil
so like I'm looking at this 1/4. It's like, what can I do? I just have to play my
would
2
be
drop.
awesome, but unfortunately then they're gonna brick this turn. They are gonna use this permafrost to lock out the Yeti Pioneer. You know, Sunnyvale doesn't have an undepleted power on their side, and that's a lot of 3-cost cards in there.
Attacking doesn't make any sense.
Yes,
Just play a Pioneer.
you get
Just
to
play
get
a coin
another Yeti
depleted.
Pioneer
I don't
down,
think
that'll
that like
help provide some
holding the coin and trying to get value off of it makes
power
any
in future
sense.
turns. And there's a primal sigil.
Alright, still a little bit
Do you think? No, Galp didn't have the Mother Skies, and that improved their draw tremendously, right? They have Permafrost into Merchant. You know, I think you're right. I think you're right, Sluffer. I think Gallup should have taken a redraw there. I think that, like, there's too great of a chance that that hand just doesn't do what it needs to do. Yeah, like, you can't play the Blight Math. If you don't draw a power, you're just out of this.
awkward here for M Gallop. They are going to be able to proc the Mother, get a Cloud Snake.
That Hailstorm's going to be pretty great.
So, obviously, I know that my opponent went and got a Hailstorm. Like, that's just how these things work. I think about this for a long time. I'm getting the 4th power off of this. I think it's pretty clear what my play is, right? Like, I know that I'm getting Hailstormed basically no matter what I do. These units are already dead. I want to get the Mother of Skies off the table because it can be such a pain for me. The big question is, what do I discard? I also have the Seal of Devotion on top.
Alright, Sunnyvale has a Seal of Devotion on top. They can
So
work that.
I'm like, okay, I just attack with this. No, I can attack with this. If they block this with either the 1/4s, then I'll just jack to finish it off.
I like what Sunny's doing here. They think they're probably going to use Jack, so they're probably going to queue up some attacks that'll do a little bit of damage to these 4 health units.
And they can't, like, attacking with this, they can double block this. Attacking with this, they can single block this, but they can't do both.
So they can finish it off with Jack.
Yeah, Sunny's trying to get into a spot where it doesn't telegraph to M Gallop, hey, I have a Jack in my hand by making this attack.
Yeah, make this trade.
But also
Get rid of this,
trying
yeah.
to make it
They're okay with
enticing
this
enough
dying.
such that M
So
Gallop
the
actually
big question
puts
is,
either this
what
Solar
do
or
I
the Mother of
discard?
Sky.
Right? Like, this is a pretty tough choice. All the cards in my hand are really powerful cards, but what is the one that I should be getting rid of? So I end up getting rid of the Thunder of Wings because if I don't have a unit for Thunder of Wings, it's pretty awkward. Like, it costs 5 for a 4/2. My opponent might have a 1/4 and a 1/2 that just, you know, trades for the 1/4. So I decide that Thunder of Wings is the worst card. And the Merchant adds some flexibility because I could see myself getting flooded out of this situation as well. Why didn't they double block? This is already dead. They're going to Hailstorm. Yeah, like, then I get to kill their Mother of Skies and I'm so much happier.
Guys in harm's way here, as Sunny still needs to find a way to fight through the Hailstorm that they likely believe M Gallop got out of their market.
I also didn't know that Gallup didn't have a multi... You know, if I was valuing this as if they probably were going to get a card off of it, a unit off of it. If they don't, like, given the composition of their hand, they might not be able to. Like, they can't actually play anything other than Hailstorm.
Yeah, M Gallop kind of figured out what was going on. They didn't expose the Mother of Skies, so now Sunny's got to decide how they want to deal with this problem. I could see Sunny.
I mean,
just
like,
making a
even
play,
if
like,
they
going
do
and
the
getting
double block,
persuaded.
like,
It is
they're
tough,
probably
though. You lose the
Hailstorming a
window
Jack
where
anyway,
Jack
if they
was
have
able
no
to
other
play
play.
past Smuggler.
Yeah, I think Sunny's just in too good of a situation to finish off the Blight Pass Smuggler
Okay,
and get a treasure
so
trove here.
now I'm looking at the treasure
Fortunate
trove
for
and
them,
I'm
they do
thinking
have to
this is
lose one of these
probably
Thunder of
market
Wings,
fodder.
but
Like, I'm probably going to ship
from
this to a
Sunny's
market at some
perspective,
point.
it is going to be tough to actually get
Okay,
those
here's the
Brood Arrows
Hailstorm.
through,
It's the
given
only
the
card
number
that
1/2
Gallup can
flank
play.
blockers that
They still
seem
have
like they
the
might be made this game.
1/4. Alright, what's the play here? So here, I trade... The treasure trove is the worst card in my hand. Like, playing Jack doesn't do anything. Playing Seer doesn't do anything. Can't play the Thunderwings. I have to play the Merchant. What do I get from the market? Persuader is what they mentioned, but the... And I get incredibly lucky with this, too. The Warcry is, like, really relevant. If I know that my opponent is playing Blight Moths, if I know that my opponent is playing X4s and I have a lot of 3Xs, like, that Warcry is actually really important.
And Gallup just respecting Milo so much, not attacking there.
All right, so for Sunny, I think this is another spot for the Persuader. I gotta be honest.
I agree with you here, Andrew. I think this is the time that you play the Extant Merchant, you cash in this treasure trove. Oh, getting a Warhelm.
Yeah, and I don't think I know I got like the high end of how good Warhelm was going to be, but I think Warhelm was like very likely to be relevant. The Warcries were very likely to be relevant, and then of course attacking with a 4 attack unit. Like, sure, I can slap the Persuader on the next turn and attack for a ton, right? But I'm also missing, if I do that, I'm missing an attack this turn that also gets a Warcry.
Interesting.
All Warcries end up in
This must be
Milos
Sunny
Jack. But I mean,
worried about,
like,
well,
even if I
Gallup
Warcry an
hasn't
X1,
really
that's important because of the Blight
played
Mounts.
any power
It means
cards.
that it
They
doesn't just
must
get picked
have
off.
several removal spells in reserve here, thinking Defiles, thinking Annihilates.
I
maybe
am
thinking
so
of
thrilled that my opponent, didn't play a unit there. I was like, okay, great. There's a shot. There's a shot.
first permafrost here, but
I tanked hard on this double
worried
seer
about
here.
putting
I was
all
thinking,
their eggs-
okay, like maybe I could play Thunder of Wings. I think I had a couple options. So I could do nothing and see if my opponent like played a Champion of Chaos because I knew it wouldn't have Aegis. There's no way they could play 1 power and get Aegis on the Champion of Cunning. So I could just double seer at the end of turn, because that's the card that stonewalls me, right? I can play Thunder of Wings to continue to develop, just attack for 4 there. Or I can double seer this. Like, if I play Thunder of Wings and they play a multi-faction unit, like, it's really bad for me, I think. Because, yeah, sure, I get the attack in for 4, but then they just have a bunch of units. No, you know what? I think that... What do you guys think? Like, do you think that it's better to just play Thunder of Wings? I lose out on the Warcry, but I do something that actually develops my board. I don't waste both seers. Double seering a 2-drop is not where you want to be. Jedi EJ, what's up? What is up, my friend? Congratulations on the top 64. I'm proud of you. Autopilot, grab the Persuader. I'm like very confident that Warhelm was the better play. And Persuader, yeah, like this is not fantastic against removal either, but like, what are you gonna do? 6 face damage is a heavy cost. I would have done Thunder of Wings. I think that Thunder of Wings is a little better. We are counting my misplays from this weekend. I'm doing that to show that like you can always do better, right? Even if I feel like I played very well over the course of the weekend. I just want to demonstrate that you can play even better. All right, I'm going to count that as a misplay. I think that Thunder of Wings is a better line here. Yeah, let's break out the Sunny Friends for Jedi EJ. Content creator extraordinaire.
and one really expensive unit weapon.
Throw the wings down because I feel it puts more pressure on them. New mic? Oh yeah, this is a new mic. This is actually my girl. We did like.
The Warcry could pay dividends.
Sorry, I have to tell this story. My girlfriend and I have been social distancing for this entire time because, well, we both live with our parents, and we live with our respective parents and want to protect them as much as possible. So we kind of did like a drug deal exchange of microphones. She wanted my microphone because she wanted a pop filter, and I was like, okay, can I use your microphone? So it was like, okay, put the microphone down. Then she walks up, she takes the microphone and drops her microphone off, and then I take her microphone. It was hilarious. And this is really good for saxophone, or at least it is so far with what I've tried it with. So I'm excited to be able to try it out more. You have to guess that they have a Blight Moth in hand. I mean, it's certainly very possible, but it's also possible that they just haven't drawn a Blight Moth up until this point, or maybe they traded it to the market. What about... I did talk about that one antic. I could do that.
Snack
But like,
time,
if they play a
Minerva.
champion, like, they get the 1-2 anyway. I don't know. I think that Thunder of Wings is just a better play than anything I do here. Endo Jackson, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. We play card games here and we play music here.
Time to tip the scales.
And time to tip the scales. Epic Candyman, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. Thanks. Yeah, I do like my aggro decks, that's for sure. Thunder is terrible against one Blight Moth. Yeah, but like one Blight Moth into something else isn't great for me either. Yeah, like, it's not like they don't have targets for the Blight Moth. They end up shrinking this to the point where it can't really make a good attack anymore. I think I should have just played Thunder of Wings and attack for 4. No Warcry sucks, but, like, I might as well develop my board. It's... the more I think about it, the more I think I don't like the double seer.
Hope
Because
will never
also,
die.
if I hold on to the seer and they do make a double block of 1/4 plus 1/2 against the Thunder of Wings, then I get to, you know, blow out the double block. Hope will never die. To D2 Creen, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow.
Evidence down the road.
Definitely. I mean, this is going to enable, you know, Sunny's mid to late game Miloses to actually be able to attack.
Seer face twice. I don't like. I think that if my plan is to do it on this turn, it's not a good play. Like double seer to the face might be relevant, but that is the type of thing that you only do on the last turn or the second to last turn of the game, and we are not there yet.
And while Sunny doesn't have
Oh, it's
any
really
immediate
loud.
obvious
Shoot, I
plays
turned
here,
off.
they could just
I actually
double seer
did
down
turn
the
off
dark skies,
the
and that's what they're gonna
alert
do.
box.
It's a lot of damage to lose out on, but that is just
Really is.
massive respect.
I don't know
for
why it's so
how
loud.
powerful Mother of Skies can be from Gallop's deck is.
Hold on. Follows. Where's the global settings? Global alert delay. Why doesn't it give me a source control? Control audio via OBS. There we go. Okay, that should be better. Here, sorry if I blow people's ears out, but I'm gonna test my follower notification. Let me know if this is better. There was a box that wasn't checked that controls the volume of the alerts.
Hope will never die.
Was that better? Okay, so what are you guys saying? Jack and Handy is at 5 health. I don't know. 5 is not 0. Yeah, yeah. Like I think that those are plays you can. That might eventually happen, but they need to be the last plays you make. Otherwise, like, you can't push through damage because, like, board position is worth damage too. Okay, I can turn it down, but now I can finally change it because for some reason, like, it gave me the option to change the volume. It just didn't do anything because I didn't check the right box.
Looks like we're going to see them deploy both the Blight Moss here, shrink down this Extend Merchant, so it only can make one
Okay,
more attack.
so I draw a super Warcried Kazuo. All right, what's the play here? I think that discarding a card with Jack, like, these cards have a ton of value. I'm at the stage of the game where I can draw a Sigil, or I can draw a Power, or 1-drop that's not really Warcried, and that just doesn't have a lot of value, and that's why I should be discarding with Jack. So, given that I'm not playing Jack, I can play both Kazuo and Thunder of Wings, and that's what I do here. The only question is, what do I attack with? Do I attack, you know, I'm attacking a 2-1 and a 4-2 into two 1/2s. And if I attack with just the 4/2, they double block it, and then they can just eat this, right? We're at the stage of the game where my opponent can probably afford to just play 3 power to do something. Should they have played Mother?
So Sunny could use Jack here to take out both the
Probably,
Blade Moths.
yeah.
Yeah, you already put so much of an emphasis on, leveraging this war cry. Nope, gonna play out the Kazu, and I suspect that we'll see the Thunder of Wings as well.
So I was considering, exhausting this, but I was like, wait a
You
second,
could
that doesn't
do
make any
and
sense.
then
I'm just going to
attack
exhaust
with
this.
the
I'm going to
Extra
attack with
Merchant
both.
as well as the Thunder of Wings, knowing that there's no good. They can't double block. Can't sort of block everything.
So just double
Right,
block
yeah, you're gonna be able
here,
to push some
exhaust
amount of
kill this.
damage through here,
And that
you're
war
gonna
cry is incredibly important, as we see Gallop's going to play this 1/4, and I'm going to get a Milos that has 4 attack.
get War
Also
Cry.
very lucky.
And from Sunny's perspective, they're not that unhappy if
Oh yeah, Jack
And Gallop
absolutely
uses their
destroys
turn
that play,
here.
right?
Yep, using one of these
Okay,
shades.
so that
finishing off
happens,
the
and then
Extra
there's the
Merchant.
Mother of Skies, and then I immediately draw a 4/4 and
The Mother
can
of
attack
Skies,
with 2
which
units,
they
which
can battle
is
through. And there's that
absurd.
Milos that's been pumped up by the War Cry. Can actually battle through the Mother of Skies here.
This is
I
incredible
ran
stuff.
so hot during this tournament. Holy cow.
Please
Like,
serve
I
up
definitely
Fire
used my
now.
1 time.
And that's gonna
Or-
look at
what's the-
Gallop's hand. All of their cards draw cards.
So here I was like, please do
Sometimes
not
it's
draw a
the
Fell
others,
Rock.
I
Oh
imagine.
man. The entire dynamic
thought
of
it
the
was a
game
Fell Rock
changes
for
if
a
they draw a
second.
Fell Rock. Although, granted that I was about to draw the Torch. Oh, I mean, I guess Fell Rock changes what I'm going to draw. Anyway, them not drawing a draw, I was like, whoa. So I was considering torching here and just attacking with both. And I was like, wait a second. Jack is actually better here because it forces the chump block here. Like, if I torch this and attack with both, they go down to 1, basically. Right? And I have basically lethal in hand. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that there was some, like, the opponents that had really good decks, I think ran cold. Like, I think that the person playing the Xenon deck that ran pretty cold. But I actually don't feel that way against, like the 2 Xenon players just ran incredibly cold. But I actually don't feel that way against these film decks. Yeah, but like, Gallop's been making relevant plays. It's not like Gallop passed the turn with all the power up, not able to make a play. Like, they've been making relevant plays every turn of the game.
Jack to get rid of the Lightning Sprite, and then that means there are no good blocks for M. Gallop. I think I like that line a lot.
So I was about to torch, and I was like, hold on. Jack
What
is better
actually
here.
happens if you're in Sunny side and you play Jack here, kill the Sprite, and do 2 upstairs?
And Corey has it.
Yeah, that seems great. You get a treasure trove.
And so then I force the chump
now
block, and
it's
then I
7.
think that's game.
Now they are compelled to chump block. Ooh, I think M. Gallop wanted to chump the Milos. You'd absorb all the damage and you'd stop the firebomb.
Yeah, and here now.
Glad you're enjoying
Gallop's
it,
gonna
Epic
have to play the
Candyman.
Blight Moth.
I've done it
Hit
before,
Jack
but
and
it's
Alpha
more
Alpha
interesting
Leo,
when I
so
play
Blight
more
Moth
than one
strength the
round,
most.
because that's usually what
Okay,
happens.
Fated Asira Torch.
All right, so
that draw.
I mean, I ultimate the
gonna-
Kazuo. The decision here is whether ultimating Kazuo or treasure troving is correct, right? They block eat, so I'd be able to do it either way. Like, no matter what happens, I'm going to get another treasure trove.
choose to use Kazuo to invoke, or they're gonna nope, they're gonna invoke here instead of trying to go for lethal this turn off the treasure trove.
Signal flare. Sunny smells blood in the water. They're sending them all in.
Then 1 plus
The
2 is
1
3.
point of damage gets through from the Jack. It's gonna drop M Gallop down to 2, and Sunnyvale, having drawn a sigil this turn, invoking a signal flare, is gonna advance to the finals.
I think that ultimating Kazuo was worse because it's more likely that you get burned from your deck, but meh. Get a charge unit. No, I like my play. Like, yeah, I don't know that I'm getting burned from, like, I don't, it's more likely that if I use the treasure trove, I win that turn. But I think it's more likely that if I use the ultimate, that I win eventually. Can we go back and look at Galp's Keep? We can do that. We know how this game ends, right? Oh, yeah, right there. It was really... They were at 0, and like I had to choose what to do with the Jack in order for the game to continue. Okay, so this was at 3:33. Oh no, that was the beginning of the
this
match.
Isn't just a one shot.
So this is
this Gallop.
The champions. I don't know how you
Really putting it off for this Jack. Yeah, you still have to contend with this Toto Pioneer.
if you just Toto Pioneer one of will or
You everybody 3 damage of Overwhelm over the Midnight Gale. Firebomb in hand to potentially
has chances after Jack plus Toto Pioneer
last weekend.
okay. I'm trying not to miss it.
Sunny managed to find a way to make Sunny's gonna lose. Thought that we saw the ability to play
better. That card really.
There we go.
But after he gets that killed for swing.
Does not look like there was a redraw at all. Yeah, I'm with... Who said this? Sleffer? Yeah, like, I'm with Sleffer. Like, this doesn't look like a keep to me. Like, what's... Like, pitch Blight Moth to the market, maybe? I think that, yeah. This doesn't look like a keep.
Because that card really has popped a lot for him. All right, it's time for game 3 here. Our second semifinal. M. Gallop will be on the play.
Yeah, okay. All right. 404.50. I'm sorry that I took so long between the semifinals and finals, but I just really wanted to soak it in with the watching like the finals. I let the counter run down to like 1 minute left on your next match is ready.
like you were calling it, changing like come down to keywords their Jacks
Is not playing with again units like they go back to
real to the mark side. We've seen deal with full action.
Okay, Keith Peleg. I think that this is like I think this is a much better matchup for me than most of the other things.
Right,
Keith is a
7 cards
savage
in their
though.
opening hand in game 1 of the finals at the Eternal Spring Throne Champion.
My hand is obviously a keep. I've got 1 drop into 2 drop. Like, yeah, I don't really have influence, but
Sunny's got a bit of a
most of the vast majority of the power will provide
only
influence
one
for
fire
Milos,
influence
and
to go
there's
with that
like
Jack.
no way
But
I'm
with a
shipping
pair
this
of
hand.
Oni Ronins to kick things off. Gonna be war crying.
This match was
Overall, I think
insane.
this is great hands from both players. I think we're in for an awesome game here. Is Keith's got that start of some early interaction with Defiance. They've got this Quarry to smooth out their draw to go along with this Smuggler, and Sunny now, you know, simple 1-2-3 curve, the ability to just set everything up that they want. Don't have the ability to enable other synergies.
Okay,
just
so
drawing extra
here,
cards for this Cookmaster,
pretty
but
clear Cookmaster.
that efficient threat to
I
where it
think.
can take them.
Okay, so I actually think that I considered just playing my unit then attacking, but I was like, wait a second, what if Keith drew a Defiance off of that like this is like really, how much does it really matter? If they have a Defiance, they might use it anyway. But like I was like, hold on, Keith might have drawn a Defiance off of that, in which case I don't know, I don't want them to know what the next unit I'm playing is.
Oni Ronin war cries in, and now Sunny's got the choice between playing out another Oni Ronin or getting a Yeti Cookmaster down. They'll start cooking.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense to play Oni Ronin there. I'll give you that. Okay, so
Road
Smuggler
comes down for Keith. They're really trying to. It seems like they're trying to avoid.
So my opponent has 2 cards that are super relevant for the matchup. They've got Stormhalt Knife and Harsh Roll, right? That's I just know that that's what they're going to get from the market.
On an Oni Ronin, trying to save it for one of the hard-hitting charge threats, like a Milos or a Thunder of Wings potentially.
Yeah, gonna be an interesting
that
spot
right?
away.
Yeah, I guess I want to keep the Fire Sigil for Jack. Was that right? But like if I get another fire source, 2, 3, I still don't have a good discard. That might have been greedy there. Like that that Grenadin off the Waystone could really end up mattering. I think it's debatable. It's fuzzy enough that, like... Because, like, when you're in this type of matchup, the cards usually really end up counting unless you get super duper flooded. Yeah, Defiance is
and if you choose
good.
To block
Keith,
with this hidden road
I think,
smuggler, the
made the
Meals
right
is gonna
block here.
grow to be a 5/5.
Yeah, the saving grace for Suny or for Keith is that they have a Defiance. So even though it's a big Milos,
So we're gonna have Treasure Trove.
days of hitting
I guess
are over.
he's thinking about using Contraband here. Okay, so just play this. Defiance the Milos.
Hold up Defiance at the ready, and Sunnyvale picks up a Fire Sigil. So
I'm not playing Jack
interesting
anyway,
to see
am
if they
I?
choose to get in with
Because
Jack
I know that my
or
opponent
not.
doesn't have Harsh Roll.
Starters, they're just going to
I may as
attack.
well play out my 2
Defiance
units,
takes
right?
out Milos.
I think I got punished.
Because of the sheer quantity of...
I got punished. I'm not sure if it was a misplay to play out the Waystone instead of the Fire Sigil for my second influence. Third, because third. I end up really needing that Fire Sigil Jack. I'm going to say not a misplay on this. I think the double damage on Jack is pretty relevant.
Really appealing
Yeah, you're right,
Sunny
Slipper.
might be able to take out all the while being able to deal 4 damage to Keith. That
yeah, Keith has Harsh Rule here also. So we're going to suffocate and play Merchant here. Time to tip the scales. Ryodin, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. Glad to have you here. Okay, this is another misplay. I know it's coming.
Queue up a Harsh Roll.
So,
while Sunny could...
okay, I think it is wrong to play Jack here and shoot and attack, because that brings my opponent to exactly 10. They play Harsh Rule, they play Stormhalt Knife, they have Stormhalt Knife at 10 life, and all I have is Seer and Treasure Trove. What I did horribly, so I think that play would have been very wrong. What I should have done is just seared the 2/2 and attacked with both. Seer is a terrible card in this matchup. Here's a way to make it relevant. I still have 2 units. They probably have to Harsh Rule on the next turn.
Pick up a treasure trove. That sounds
Yeah,
pretty
this was...
fantastic.
I'm proud of myself for identifying that Jack here is a terrible play, and also really embarrassed that I made this play. Should have gotten the Harsh Rule with the first Merchant pull, getting them. Well, they don't know that they're necessarily not. They don't know that they're necessarily going to get a second Merchant. So I think it does make sense to get the knife first.
I thought we might see Sunny actually use a Seer there, and
oh wow,
nice draw from Keith's end. That's a huge one to pick up there.
All right, so we're gonna see Jack shoot, and I'm gonna go Jack shoot back.
Pitch it to Jack here.
This is exactly the gameplay that Direwolf intended.
Interestingly, though, this looks like Sunny holding on to their Jack for a turn is actually gonna end up even in a better spot for them. Is rather than taking out a single smuggler, they're now going to be able to take out a much bigger threat from Keith's side, which is their copy of Jack.
That is a large...
Wow, and I love the way that
Milos.
How
many? I got 5 War Cries?
Got War Cry a ton. They're going to play the Jack. Demand
is that really an 80? Yeah, I guess I had double Oni run in there.
Let Jack go unanswered. Ow, Keith cracked the treasure trove.
Aggressive troving there by Keith.
So Keith could have played Harsh Rule against that? Okay, so I think the reason why Keith did this, and Keith is a madman for doing this, is because they wanted to drop down to 10 and be able to play their knife.
I would have been terrified of this Jack hanging out, and I would have wanted to Harsh Rule it, or find something else to do. But Keith is like, yeah, got all the time in the world. I'll just play 2 Troves. I don't even need to play my Merchant.
Oh my god! And if I have an undepleted power here, like I can get Keith down to 1 here with the knife, and then he just holds on forever. Oh my god! I know that I'm about to get harsh ruled and stormhalted knifed, but like my opponent being at 10 with that happening, is that better? Like, is there a world where I'm supposed to hold this and just draw cards there? What if I put them down to 11 there and don't attack? I don't like that play, Pachi. Dino Weed, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. We play card games and music here. So I don't like that play because it means that I miss out on a treasure trove as well. So that seems like a pretty steep cost. But maybe I was just too eager to get the 8/8 down. I knew that I couldn't kill them. What if I just played check? What if I just attack with Jack, bring them down to 10, double treasure trove? They go. They probably go harsh rule knife. But like I'm also risking that my opponent draws a defiance at some point or something like a Var or something like that. Miles is very good. Because this way I'm just like giving myself up to the knife. The knife's going to have 5 health. Even Seer here isn't enough. I think this is a misplay. I think that I should have just drawn twice. Just put my opponent to 10, drawn twice. If they play knife, like, yeah, they're at the 10 life threshold. If they play knife, sucks for me, but at least I can take it down with Milos. Edict, Defiance, Display, I'll kill Milos. Yeah, but if I wait until after they play it, then I get... Like, it's really only Defiance that I care about, because it's the only one that prevents it from connecting the first time. I think draw twice is better.
Here comes this 8/8 Milos. Keith's now down to 2. There's a Seer in hand for Suny.
I don't think it's immediately obvious, but I do think there's a better line.
He can, so now Keith has access to harsh rule this turn.
Oh my god, this is so ridiculous.
That functionally gets them up to 6 points of health. And Sunny's actually at 20. We haven't talked about it yet, but there's a Rizon with lifesteal. Keith can close the door really quickly with this deck.
Yeah, but I still feel like Knife is the better card in the matchup sizzle steam, and there's no guarantee that you're going to draw another merchant.
It is, the harsh roll into the knife.
Right, Emblem of Shopka. Gotta start with the treasure trove.
And a Jack that's... Okay.
So here, I was thinking about just playing the emblem and holding up the Seer. Like, and try to get him with, when he goes to attack my 3/3. It's Baradin with the raiding party. What's up, my friend? We are going over the games from the Throne Championship and seeing how many misplays I have. We have 10 misplays so far. I don't know, Sleffer. Like, Keith is really low. So... I mean, I sequenced this improperly. Is that a misplay? Is there any line that I take that is different? Yes, because if I draw... Okay, so that's a misplay. No. Sorry, never mind. The Totem Pioneer doesn't change things. Is there a 2-drop that I would rather play? No, but still a sequencing error.
Trade their trove. Now they're gonna play
oh no, had to end early because bitrate? That's
finding a fire
unfortunate.
a nice pickup there.
I definitely have had to
huge
fight that. Okay.
Now we're gonna see this huge swing back from Keith.
Rizon.
Keith's gonna use
oh my god, I was so lucky to draw that fire sigil.
All the way. Drop Sunny down to 9, but now with that sigil,
here I can play the Totem Pioneer.
Able to drop the knife.
We're just racking these up now. Oh my god.
Back that trove.
Why wouldn't I play the Totem Pioneer? That's just value.
And does Keith have another market answer to this?
Keith can go and get Regent's Tomb.
Oh, you're right. Okay. I must have known that in the moment. You're right, Pachi.
Okay, yeah, you can sabotage the Seer and attack the Jack and go to 1.
You don't have to attack
this.
The Jack.
Oh my god, like this was like exactly because there are 2 cards that really matter, right? And then there's a card that can sometimes matter a little, and that's Regent's Tomb, and here it mattered a lot.
You could just hope that the Chess Merchant works as a blocker. You're going to see Sunny's hand, at least from the perspective of seeing what spells they have.
Right, you will get to see the Seer, and you know about the Trove. There's 1 unknown card in hand.
Oh my god.
Keith is back at 1. Here comes a treasure trove. An incredibly close game.
And Sunny now actually has a tough decision of do you play out the Tota Pioneer? Chooses to, basically.
Okay,
Thunder of
so
Wings.
I saw the Thunder of Wings. Are you supposed to play the Thunder of Wings and attack here? Keith is no idiot. Keith is not going to just attack a 2/2 in a situation like attack with the 2/2 and not have a flying blocker, right?
Wings.
The
I
Winchester
think
can
super-
block Corey.
Like, there are so few. Oh my god. I was also thinking about situations where I could play Thunder of Wings and then have the activation for it, like the activation here. Did I play the power?
Oh my god. Now, okay, if you're Sunny here, do you actually even play the Thunder of Wings? Do you want to actually trade off this Inferno Brood for the merchant here?
I play the power here,
Don't
right?
wanna
If
get
I don't play the
into a spot
power,
where
I
you
have
can't
no
play
idea what
all
I'm
of your
doing, and it's a
things.
misplay
That's
for
the
sure.
problem. If you were to
Right.
not play Thunder of Wings this turn and then top deck another one, you might get tied up in your hand. Sunny's gonna hold on.
Okay, so the reason I did this is because if I draw just any power, I get to play the power, play Thunder of Wings, and then activate it. And then that's, 8 overwhelm damage, and Keith has to absorb all of it. Why not attack? Oh, there's no way I was not attacking. There was no way I was attacking. I wasn't going to trade that. Like, if I draw a power here, then Thunder of Wings becomes, like, very potent. If I don't draw a power, well, hopefully I figured out a way to do 1 damage. I think I made the right play here. I think that this was, like... I think this was the right play. If I play it in pass, I expose it to removal. I guess if they remove my Tota Pioneer, my plan falls apart anyway. Why not play the 4/2 and not attack? Okay, so if I need to keep something in my hand for Merchant, and that's exactly what happens, as we see. And that was definitely a big part of the decision-making process. I mean, Rezon is going to get me anyway. Like, it's possible that it just didn't matter. Like, anything that was going to get me was going to get me. But I mean, say like Keith plays an Ikaria here instead of playing, I don't know what. No, if Keith has Ikaria in hand, I lose to Lingering Influence. I think that my play was good enough to be defensible.
To it.
Okay, and now Keith's got the choice to probably swear vengeance here so they can get the Zhou down. And Ikaria, okay, so Keith's definitely got
Oh wait,
the
it would
game
have been
locked up
attacking
on the
for
next
8
turn,
and they
it
could
looks like.
double.
Keith's
No,
just
it
gotta
would have been lethal.
verify here. Do
I mean,
actually
if my opponent
need
plays
this
Ikaria
or
and
do
then
we
plays a
can
power and
attack
attacks,
this
then I'm dead
turn?
anyway. So I guess Ikaria doesn't
This is one of
matter.
the closest games we've had
Zhou,
all
if they
day.
attack and then leave Zhou back, they're not doing that
This is
against my
only
deck.
game 1 of this match, but both players are so close.
An
Ixton
Ixton
Merchant.
Okay,
Does
so
that
I
do
drew
it?
the extend merchant. I was like, there. Oh man, I just like don't have a way to get through this.
Sunny have
I have like, I have so many outs in my deck, right?
If you can
got
get the-
like Phoenix Stone and Caleb's Persuader. Those aren't good enough.
if you
I was
get the
thinking
Warhelm
like,
out of
okay,
the
so
Merchant,
maybe
yeah,
I
that
get
can give
Shugo
charge
Standard
to
and
the
Hope,
Ixton
and then I was
Merchant.
like, wait a
You
second,
can
I
use the
actually do have
Tota
enough for Caleb's
Pioneer.
Persuader, and I'd actually have to connect with it.
Putting it on the Tota Pioneer.
Oh, the-
Do it. Gets the extra power, and Sunnyvale
Turns up.
takes down game 1. Incredible.
Yeah, did the math on getting the 2 power of the Tota Pioneer that way. I was thinking about using the Warhelm and then activating the Pioneer. Opponents at 1, just kill him with the Persuader. Huge draw for Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale had played out the Thunder Wings on the
Is
previous
it really
turn of
the
our
worst?
Ixton Merchant. And then likely
I think
would have
it's
died to
worse to
Zhou
like
plus,
lose having thought
Arya
that
on the
you
following turn. So Suny
and then realize that
made
you
it
had the win
perfectly,
afterward.
they needed every bit of it to win game 1.
Yeah, and every draw to the deck, every treasure trove had to be used. Every war cry had to be accounted for.
Shadow and Sunny's Veil's draw was have
Okay, this hand is obviously not keepable, right? Depleted power.
their draws. Keith
Not going to
missing
happen.
Shadow and Sunny's Veil's draw was
All right, this hand is good. It's 1-drop, 2-drop flail.
Drawn into a solid one with Kazuo into Tota Pioneer. Sorry, and Yeti Pioneer.
So this game, I think, just like Keith drew pretty cold. Didn't draw Shadow for a long time. I guess actually looking at their hand now, not having Shadow was not that big of an issue. It's not like they were missing on Merchant or something.
They don't have a path forward. They have this Rizon. They know where they want to end up, but they don't know how they're getting there right now.
Okay, so
kill a bunch
here.
of stuff that Sunny plays, and hopefully that'll be
Okay,
good
so
enough.
I play the Seal, right? No, I play
more
the.
than
Okay,
the
yeah. I need to make sure that I
Yeah,
get to the
it does look
Waystone
like
on
one of
time
those
if I
games that
can.
He's gonna have a lot of health to play with. We'll see how that changes the flow of this one relative to the last game, which was just a nail biter. Just
Do you keep Torch on top? Hell, that's a tough call.
I think I would bottom
This is
it here.
kind of. I think that Defiance is a better card than Edict because it just interacts with so many of my cards. Hey, what's up, Direwolf 2000? Welcome to the stream. We're going over the finals and counting all the misplays.
It's close.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of why I was playing
Keith
Flail
let
instead of
the
something
Yeti
like Flame
Pioneer come in
Blast.
instead
Is
of
for
using
matchups like this, I
Kodash.
can just, refill the board. I know that without.
They can't really take advantage of
Like-
the extra power and just passes with one left,
Yeah.
but is able to deploy 2 more units in Yeti Pioneer and Oni Ronin.
Edict stops my ramp.
Kinda looks like Keith
Well,
may
I
end
mean,
up
it
putting
didn't
that
end
on
up
the bottom,
mattering.
and it's gonna
I
keep
do
the
think
power
that
on the
Edict
top, as
is
that represents,
lower value
I
than
believe,
Defiance
the
in this
4th or 5th
matchup.
spell now for this Rizon as
Oh yeah,
well as
I'm going to be
being
playing some
6
music
power
afterward. I
and
want
the
to show you some stuff
Shadow
I'm working on
influence.
that I've been working on, and I'm really excited about it. It's buried in. It's some themes that I feel like as
It'll be interesting
someone
to
who's
see how
planning on
Sunny
playing
plays
music
this.
on
Does he
Twitch, I
run
need
out
to
the
know.
Jack
Okay,
here?
so just attack,
Does
and
he
then
just
just
get the
charge chain
Charge Chain
flail.
Flail
Yeah,
going?
just get the flail going.
Gonna get the 4 strength relic weapon out there. Just start
Edict
brawling
can't
in
kill
that
wings.
way.
Defiance can't. That's true, but by the time it's stunning for 2 attacks. Like that's a lot. Like, and at least you prevent the 4 damage where Edict doesn't do that.
And
I think it would have been better to
Keith not
play.
keeping that torch
Edict
now.
there.
It definitely looks like a
Okay,
cost.
now he
real
has
way
Shadow.
To break this up.
He's taking
Heroes
Alex
like,
here. It's
you
like
know,
another,
now
at
what?
least another 6 damage coming across this turn.
Yeah, 6
Do
more
I
coming
just
this turn,
jack the
ability to
face?
potentially reinforce
I don't
with
think
another
so.
unit.
I think just play Oni Ronin. Right, like there's no way you jack face here, right? Both of these cards are valuable.
But Keith's got a haymaker coming.
You can downgrade it,
Rizon is one of, if not the best,
and
threat
like
that Keith has in
jack
this
shooting for
matchup.
4 could be really relevant.
I think that we're still a couple spells away from getting lifesteal.
And I was like, oh my god. So why would you Rezon Sunny's face? That took out the Char Chain Flail, right? If they Rezon here, I break this and kill this, and like if I have backup units, it's really bad. The way it ends up playing out, yeah, like sure, I actually have removal in my hand that I need to get rid of, but like that's, like I feel like I'm more likely to just have follow up with random units. Do you think that they should have blocked? I mean, it's a bad, I think that given limited information, either block is fine. Like, if they block here, I coin, and I'm in a great spot. Or I feel good about that trade. If they block here, I jack, and I feel, good about my play. Like, given the limited information, I don't think there's a way for Keith to know. Like, I think it is better for me that they block the 2-1. Maybe I'm supposed to jack either way. Maybe I don't coin there. But anyway, I think the block was fine. I'll work on a lot of stuff. I write short stories, but those. Okay.
Granite
He's
coin
just
is
gonna
a
swing
new
right
mother.
in.
Another huge draw for Suny.
Wow, it's gonna work out really badly that Keith blocked the bigger Oni Ronin as Sunnyvale
Oh shoot!
just
Did I screw? No. I think I recognize this, right?
Granite
I was
Coin
like,
if they
wait,
want
I'm
to
just
finish
supposed
off.
to check
Sunny
here.
could just deploy the Jack, discarding the Granite Coin.
Is actually gonna go that way.
Yeah, a treasure trove for their problems. Keith could really use a merchant or a smuggler to get them back into Stormhalt knife territory.
So here
On the
Keith
Milo
makes
Ball
an
top.
absolutely colossal mistake. And I'm sorry, Keith, for saying this, but I don't think there's another way of saying this. Like, this dealing 2 damage to you, I guess Rezon does get lifesteal, and that's pretty relevant. So if you do this, drop down to 5... You know what? Keith might have been right to just Defiance this and be like, I'm going to get back the reason I'm going to shoot this, and it's going to have lifesteal. You know what? Keith is, like, next level. You know, I think Keith made the right play. Given that it has lifesteal, gaining 5 life a turn is, like, really important.
This means he can. Oh well, Keith can finally use that display of ambition.
But I made a
Oh,
mistake
no.
here. So I actually made a misplay here. And the misplay was they had a fast spell. I knew that there was a pause. I saw the pause after they used the Defiance, but before they made blocks. I saw that there was a fast spell. It could have only been, like, granted that it could have been another Defiance, I suppose, but it wasn't. Like, it was pretty clear that wasn't. It had to have been display for Rezon. I should have just torched faced after this.
Missed it. Oh, the display of ambition was online to kill that giant Milos that had been war cried up. Instead, they used Defiance on it.
Okay, so no, we don't see.
And then he does it at
Sunnyvale
the
fire
end
on
of the turn, and
torch,
torch isn't
now as a
fast, so I can't
result, the display
activate
of
it
ambition's
before
gonna
they
be
get
be cashed in, and that's
overwhelmed.
lifesteal on this
Before they get
Rizon enabled.
lifesteal.
Oh my goodness.
Sunny had the ability to play around that potential to put.
Yeah, no kidding. Keith is bad as I'm sorry. Also me. Keith is good and I'm bad. Yeah, torch face would be the play, and I actually could have figured that out because I knew my opponent had a display. And I shut off any relevant, like, the display's only relevant mode for the most part is to get stuff back from the void.
Keith down to 2, chose not to.
Okay, so here, draw with treasure trove.
Draw a card with this treasure trove. Doesn't manage to find another torch. To kill
Draw
the Rizon, or
again with
rather
treasure
kill
trove?
Keith in
Okay,
this
yeah,
case.
yeah.
And this Rizon's gonna get a
Cookmaster.
swing in.
So I can trade what I have for this Rezon, but they drop to 11, like, they're really close to dying if they draw a blank. Like, I just give the buff, attack with everything, and torch, right?
This coming turn.
Yeah, Sunny could just attack in with the Oni Ronin and threaten to finish it off with the
Oh
torch,
my
but
god.
they're not going
The fact
to.
that was depleted power is so ridiculous. Jeez. If Keith draws undepleted power here... Yeah, if Keith draws undepleted power here, not torching face costs me the game.
Absolute nail biter of a game here. Keith was moments away from being dead. Sunnyvale had torched, would not have been able to display of ambition back this Rizon.
I also clearly did not know what Display of Ambition did because I knew about the Display of Ambition because there was a pause on Keith's attack, right? So it can only be Display of Ambition. I was like, okay, so if I buff here, they're just going to display it because I thought that display checked attack, not health.
On.
Like, I have the deck list, but I don't have pictures of the cards in front of me. I didn't look up any of these cards. I just figured, you know, they've been around enough that... Because this is usually killing, like, Sandstorm Titans and stuff that have 5 attack anyway. I was like, whoa. Hold on, I'm supposed to pump this.
He's back up to 11.
Yes, it is, Caladinus. Well, they were dead to coin plus torch.
Here.
Yeah, using the Totem Pioneer again. The Display of Ambition's only gonna look at 5 health, so that's gonna drop Keith down to 3 here.
Sunny
And
pulled it out.
Sunny sniffed out the line, found the way to steal it.
Oh man.
Sunnyvale is your thrown QCP.
You know what's funny about this count is that most of these plays, like I think I got through the first 2 rounds that were okay. So we watched like 4 rounds of me play 5. We watched 5 rounds. I was featured for everything except for the top 64. I got through like the first 2 rounds with only 2 misplays, which means the last 3 I made 10 misplays. Granted, maybe the situations were more difficult or whatnot, but boy, I think most plays were debatable. I mean, I think that some of these were pretty minor misplays, but I think at the end of the day, like, there were places where I could tighten the screws, right? And think of all the places that I made a really tight line that, you know, pushed in 1 extra damage or gave me another 1-1 on the board or something like that. The finals are only a best of 3. Played your deck in the film deck. Also played Keith's. Well, I mean, not searing the merchant was a mistake. Also, was power played that turn already? I thought it was. No, that was the previous turn. Display for 1 wouldn't have ended up doing it, but at that point it was like actually probably the most relevant thing they could have done. Really love Felonso Gallop's deck in the top 4. Yeah, a bunch of people were on that deck, weren't they? So something really uncanny about what happened. So here's what. Here, let me go to. Oh my god. Tournament decks. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, so here's what the top decks looked, or top players, top 8 looked like for this tournament, right? And you might have seen me tweet this out. Yeah. Look, I ran hotter than the face of the sun, and my opponents ran medium to cold. But that's, I mean, I think that's generally the case with people that win tournaments. So this is the top 8 of this tournament, right? Here's the top 8 of an ECQ that happened like 3 months ago. We have Keith Palig finishing in second also. I finished in the top 4. A rank, who was in the top 8 of this and lost the mirror to M Gallop, was there. And M Gallop also was playing the same deck as A rank in this tournament, although I don't know that I think someone would have mentioned it if it was a rematch, and this time like Gallop won over A rank. Well, Jeff. Oh, sorry. How comes it? What happened to... Am I gonna have to do a display capture? Seriously? All right, so I hope that made sense. So here, me, Keith Palig, M Gallop, and A rank are in the top 8, and this is an ECQ a few months ago with Keith, myself, A rank, and M Gallop in the top 8. I know that there's a lot of variance in card games, and there are going to be people like the Boxer or Keith Palig that just always do really, really well, right? But to have like 4 of the same top 8 in 2 tournaments that are, somewhat close to each other is pretty ridiculous. Well, the people that are telling you the answer might Sizzle Steam, the answer might be that no, it's not as complex and as deep, but the people that are telling you that are not good enough to, get to that level of complexity. Player pool very small, but I mean, like, compare. I would be surprised if there was any other top 8s that had even 3 players that were the same. And like Gallop and A-Rank are on the same deck here. The symmetry is just uncanny. Like,
Hope will never die.
Team Hypo, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. We play a lot of card games and music here. I think that color commentators in sports often say, like, you know, just a bunch of like random statistics that are just coincidental and aren't very interesting. Like, oh, this team is, you know, has won 90% of the games when leading by at least 3 after the 7th inning or something like that. Like, whatever. But like, we all made misplays, right? I made misplays. Gallop made misplays. Keith made misplays. I don't think we played poorly necessary. A-Rank always in 5th. But, like, I think I played very well over the course of the tournament. I think Keith played very well over the course of the tournament. But there's always room to tighten the screws and get a little better. And, you know, it might not seem like much, but sometimes those small differences can be the difference between victory and defeat. If we saw there, if I don't torch face, if I make the misplay of not torching face, like, torch face is a play that you can usually make whenever, right? You don't have to do it by a certain point. But if I don't do that and Keith draws undepleted power, I probably lose. How did you record your matches in Eternal? Is there a record function? No. Okay, so what you can do is you can use something like OBS or Slobs, which is fancy OBS. And you can record it that way. I strongly recommend, in this day and age, just being familiar with open broadcasting software, OBS. But that was the Direwolf broadcast. How was this? But this was there weren't really any new cards for this tournament, were there? Yeah, just have the company. I mean, there are so many matches. We got 4. I played 6 matches. We saw 4 complete matches and then 1 game. But, like, I mean, from their point of view, it's not like they were trying to feature me every round necessarily. It's just that in the nature of this tournament is you don't know how long your players are going to hang out. Someone joked about having BK press the Suny whitelist button at Direwolf. Oh, man. I also looked at a bunch of other results. I think this was Gallop's 3rd top 8 of the season. 3rd or 4th? I didn't realize that. That's impressive. Like, the Boxer... Let's just do some digging into some tournament. Let's figure out who... Like, I had the broadcast on mute most of the time. Did they explain anything about what the wildcard system is going to be? They're like 4 wildcard invites, right? And I think it would be good if they invited the top performing competitors. Like, that was something that was missing last season. Like, Kamado got 1 game away twice and wasn't at Worlds. I don't agree with that. Everyone thinks they have the best deck for the tournament. Oh my god. I was talking to Stormblessed about this earlier. People think that I'm super overconfident, and I will admit I am an arrogant person who has a lot of confidence in my deck building card evaluation skills. Let's just get these into order. So that one... We're looking for 6 ECQs, right? And then this is the last one. Oops, not that one. But also I feel like there are a lot of people out there that I see making super duper confident remarks that I'm very dubious of. And it's a lot of the time it's, oh, our team had the best deck, right? Where did the seats from Worlds come from? There are 9. Okay, so there are 4 championship invites. There are 9 ECQ invites. There's the draft challenge. That's 14. There's 24 though. I don't know where all of them. There was a, you know what, we might be able to find the do I still have the VOD up? We might be able to find oh yeah, God. Bruised by God. I'm really glad that Bruised by God is doing well. He was a very good Eternal player. Okay, so let's just speed this up to 2 times until we see how this is. I mean, Bruised by God is just extremely good at card games. Like, the skills translate over very well. What's the format for Worlds? It's probably just... I'm guessing it's just going to be Throne. I'm just going to get the count out of here. Okay, here we go. So here we go. There are 4 draft winners. There's there's another seasonal winner, Adrius, 9 ECQs. So if they award these wild cards just to whoever did the best, which is I think what it should be, like I'd definitely be happy about that. My only chance would be the draft challenge. Then I'd just get crushed. I never played Constructed. Oh, you mean at Worlds? No, I mean, it's still worth it. I think that also there isn't a tremendous divide between draft and being constructed. I think that, like, both are formats that you need to learn, but I think that, like, well, there is a bit of a divide. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. LOA and Boxer are stellar players. I think the Boxer is, like, head and shoulders above everyone else right now. Oh, Kolokoma. I didn't realize that Kolokoma was this season. For some reason, I thought it was the last season. LOA has had some amazing clips. Okay, so, like, I was looking at Keith Peleg's. I knew that Keith Peleg had made the finals previously, right? So these are all the things that... 6. I missed some, didn't I? Shoot. I'm trying to get all the tournaments that qualify for... I think I missed these 2. Yeah, here we go. I wonder if there really is a difference. I don't think so, Darkest Tempest. I think that anytime people talk about choking in the top 64, I think it's just small sample size. So, like, I think that it's much more indicative of results seeing, like, the 28 best of ones, for example. I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's a such thing as a deck being great for the top 64 that's bad. Sorry, yeah, that's bad in day 1. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Epic Handyman. Okay, so... All right. I guess what I should do is, like, just enter these all in a spreadsheet, right? Well, I mean, Yana has to play in the middle of the night, right? Just based on your circadian rhythm, it's going to be really messed up. Oh, God, I would have to do, like, top 16s to really be satisfied with it. Because, like, I don't think that top 8 means... Like, top 8 means a lot when you're playing Magic because there's a cut to top 8, right? But I don't think it means that much when you're playing Eternal. Like, at least not... Like, I think a top 8 in Magic means a lot more than a top 16 in Magic, but I feel that's not necessarily true when you're playing Eternal. Am I wrong for thinking that? He slept through it. Oof. He slept through several alarms. Like, it's just really rough for people that live in, you know, that part of the world, that time zone. Anyway. Okay, so Keith, I know... Top 8'd this the other one, or made the final. Top 32 here. The finals of this one. Does he show up in anything else? He's certainly been on a ridiculous hot streak. Top 16 of this ECQ. Here's Gallup with the top 16. So we already know he top 8 that one. So there's the top 16 that I was talking about. Or was it both of them? No. So this one promises. We haven't seen a lot of X Stealth X this season. Not this. I'm just going to shove this aside. Okay, that's kind of interesting that all of Keith's results and all of M Gallup's results have been super recent, but I counted two. I feel like I saw a third top 8 from Gallup, which is really impressive. Oh, hey, what's up, Darkest Hour? I think I'd compare an MTG. You know, I was actually thinking about this, comparing a GP top 8 to an ECQ. Not sure about now. I think it's definitely harder to win a GP than it is to win an ECQ, but I think it's probably harder to win an ECQ than it is to top 8 a GP. I did do it. Thank you. Oh, you have bad season, only one top 16. Yeah, like, ECQs, do we know how many people will show up to ECQs? I think it fluctuates a lot, but I think ECQs are roughly the same size as GPs. And the competition is obviously much stiffer at GPs. But as far as top 8ing goes, I think it's probably generally easier to top 8 a GP. Oh my god, look at this. This is so sad. This is so sad. I think the former is harder, not even close. Cut to day 2 is rougher, as well as less leniency. Well, you play 6 rounds. Well, what? Okay, so pretend that the finals is the win-in of a GP. Winning in for top 8 of a GP. Like, you play 6 rounds on day 2 either way, right? So it's a matter of, is GP day 2 harder than winning the top 64 of an ECQ? And there's no room for error. I mean, like, even, usually you get to go, X1 or X01 in order to top 8 in a GP. I don't know. I think it's probably close. I think that it's probably harder to win ECQ, but I do think, it's close. I definitely think that it's harder to win a GP than it is to win ECQ. Yeah, but that's a penalty that everyone has to suffer, missing matter. Isn't 6-3? But another thing about that, Theo, is that your record on day 1 of a GP affects your record on day 2. Yeah. Like, I mean, okay, so the competition has to be a lot stiffer in Magic. It is definitely more stiff. But, like, you're talking about tournaments about the same size. You're talking about, is it more difficult to win one versus top 8 the other? Like, the competition would have to be really stiff in order for top 8ing one to be more difficult than winning the other. GP have to do this. I definitely think it's up for debate, Dorcastel, and, like, I think that a lot of Eternals players don't appreciate how stiff the competition is in Magic. But even so, I think that winning an ECQ is more difficult. Now, I didn't win an ECQ. I won a championship event. That is easier than winning an ECQ. Look at the beautiful colorblind deck list. Okay, so I mean, chat. If the season ends today, we have 4 invites to give out to the players that are most deserving, based on, and I think that like contributions to the community counts for this as well. Like I think contributions to community, tournament results, I guess those are the only 2 things we're really weighing here. Like there's not like celebrity factor, I guess. I don't know. So I think Keith would be deserving of one, having made the finals of 2 tournaments and then another top 16, and then just like a slew of top whatevers. GHP. I know GHP made the finals, and GHP is definitely up there. Is he in the top 4? No, there's another top 16. And this is the stuff that's like really fun to talk about because like it's like, I don't know, it's like it's akin to Hall of Fame voting, right? It's like totally arbitrary and nobody can actually call you out on being wrong on your evaluation. So like unless I'm missing something, like I don't feel like GHP has a super consistent record, but did make the finals of that last one. I'd go with only tournament results. Okay, I guess actually if you're including contributions to the community, GHP does, Meta Monday and the Backlash podcast, so that would be heavily in his favor. 4 at-large bids nominated by the community. I think Yada's getting one of those if that happens. I would vote for Yada. I feel okay, so I actually do feel like Yada's done more for the community than anyone, just because he's been such a consistent streamer for Eternal for so long. Even, I've been a consistent streamer for Eternal. I haven't been nearly as consistent as Yada. Murder of Crows, Keith, Gallup, and undecided third. Murder of Crows had a top 4 here and definitely was influential in like building the Boxers deck list, right? But that's also a name that like I haven't seen show up everywhere. We should also like look at the Boxers finishes and see how disgusting it is. Victory here, top 4 there, top 8 here. I think I remember counting it and be like, geez, 4 top 8s. It's absurd. Yeah, with another top 4. Oh my god, that's disgusting. But the Boxer already has an invite, right? Like, I think that, this is also a conversation that I feel safe starting now, now that I'm out of the contention, because otherwise I'd be like, well, yeah, I think I deserve it. I've top 8'd 3 events. I contribute to the community. But now I just don't have to do that. Yeah, I think Eric is out of Eternal, at least. I haven't seen him. If someone is on the Barbarian camp, if they've seen him around, I don't think they've saw him. GHP is a ridiculous player. Any success is directly attributed to being on a team with GHP for so long. I think it's pretty clear. Like, Keith has 2 finals appearances and a top 16 and like a ridiculous amount of top 32s. M. Gallup has 3 top 8s and probably a top 16 in there. I think that those 2 are like pretty clear the top 2 if we're just going by tournament finishes. Isomorphic made the finals of one, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was a challenge. I don't see Isomorphic's name here ever. And yeah, Iso's definitely a very good player. Also a very creative player, which is, I think that's worth a fair amount. Like, I mean, I think it helps with your tournament results to be a creative player. So I think we have two clear, picks for that. I actually think that Jock D might deserve it. First of all, that finals match was heartbreaking, and I know Jock D has like no other top 8s. But if you just go by like win percentage on day one of ECQs, which I actually think is like a really relevant statistic, I imagine Jock D is way the heck up there. I don't think ladder rank should account for much, if at all, here is Sizzle Steam. Gurga PM top seeds for day 2. And then losing immediately, right? I have no doubt that if Jock D drew one more power, he wins that game. Yeah, fair enough. It also occurs to me, both Jock D and Gallop are on TBC. Let's look at that. Who's qualified? So let's look at team breakdown. We've got Team Misplay. We've got SPG, TRS. Oh my Oh man, that's too funny. Ugh. It's it's Twanbon, right? With an O? Oh my god, I'm gonna hyperventilate. From now on, it's Twanbon, though, that's for sure. Oh. Okay. Hey, Sunny, just catching this. Sorry if you answered already, but why did you choose to go with mono red? I did not see that much Xenon. Like, you have to keep in mind, like, I don't know what's top 64ing by the time I choose my deck. So I expected like a lot of kind of hard control. Like, I saw a lot of Huru and I saw a lot of Stone Scar, and I felt like Monofire was good against both of those. And I just felt like the deck was a lot more resilient than a lot of people gave it credit for. Deck confirmed better aggro than Sudden Death. What's... Oh, okay. Virgin Mary? Like, these two are not on teams, right? Adrius showed up in the Friends of Eternal Discord, but I think he's pretty isolated from the rest of the Eternal community, and these three also not on teams. Excellent job, Endurance. Oh man. So TBC is not currently represented, but I do imagine they would get, at least one, maybe two for if it is discretionary invites. Yeah, I think Gurga PM's a good, certainly has a shot, but like, again, compared to someone that has like multiple top 8s, I don't know how many. I didn't see when I was, whoops, didn't mean to do that. When I was looking through these, I didn't see a whole lot of people that have multiple top 8s. Like Lights Out Ace does. Lights Out Ace won one. I think Nico's on a team. Okay. Yeah, we need Dorcas Owl's singing back in our world, don't we? Lion Design, I feel like, has had some good successes, but I could be mistaking that. Collector made second place, right? I mean, I think Collector's one of the best players out there. God. Can someone tell Stormblast to play a good deck at some point? I feel like Stormblast as the co-host, or like effective co-host of FEcast, has a lot of really good ideas about Eternal and like has a lot of really good thoughts, but then shows up to tournaments with head scratchers. All right, I don't think there's anyone else that really jumps out as like easy picks. Popotito's also very good. I remember the first few times I played against Popotito, I was just absolutely floored by how well he played. And that's it for tournaments. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Then I'm gonna play some music.